I use from him. And actually just, a bunch of things I'm trying to pick up on.
Nice.
Keep me going.
Yeah. The thing is, I drink so much water. I'm curious if, like, I don't know, I'd just be refilling that thing constantly. It takes about, like, 5 minutes to get back, or to hydronate it, I guess, right?
Yeah, with the ions. And
Yeah.
all, but
Huh.
yeah, the more you read, it's one of those. Now it's on Instagram everywhere. Everybody and their brother
Yeah.
is doing it
Yeah.
for X amount of benefits.
Right? All right, so here's the headphones. Pop these bad boys on.
All right.
Yeah. And then, just try to keep this thing about a fist away from your face.
All right, that works.
Yeah. Yeah, feel free to move it around as much as you like.
All right.
Good morning.
Morning. What's up, brother?
How are you?
All right, doing good.
All right, so let's start off with a cheers.
Yes. I've
got a kombucha. You've got your...
I'll get my little hydrogen water going, a little blue.
Wow,
Yeah,
cheers.
Couple minutes.
So it'll take a couple minutes to get that going?
Yeah, I think all the hydrogen ions get through there. Again, helps with digestion, inflammation, bunch of pros and cons. So
Yeah.
But see a lot of it lately, so.
Yeah. All right. It's one thing that Brecca talks about. He's also said that it like helps you like actually digest nutrients a lot better.
Digestion, yeah, that was a big one in there. And then I guess just everything. Somehow a little bit of fat loss. It helps you with skin, with this, with that. The more you read on different sites, you see a little more information both ways. So it's good. Anything he puts out.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
I listened to the one podcast. Like most of the stuff just went right over my head, but I'm like, all right, this guy seems to know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he believes too. Like 40, 50, 60 years ago, 80% of our life was spent outdoors. So oxygen, sunlight, grounding, discharging into the earth. Now 80% of our life is indoors. Nobody does that, and it's free. It's kind of what he says. You could buy a mat from him. You could buy this from him. But you can go outside, get the first light of the day, no UVA, no UVB rays, so it's healthy. And take your shoes off, walk around in the park. Nobody does that no more. Nobody does that, but that's a way to just, again, discharge and something he has going on. And I think we talked last time about he does the gene test, the DNA test.
Yeah, I actually just did that. I sent it in. I'm waiting for the results, yeah.
I called up. I'm supposed to go down Wednesday for... because in Scottsdale, it's concierge service. But when I call, she says you can come in the office and do it because me and my wife just did 23andMe and just got the results back. More tells you what percentage you are, Italian, European, all that.
Yeah.
And some health stuff, but nothing deep.
Okay, it's mostly about like your ethnicity.
Yes,
right?
yeah. And it gives you a little bit of stuff if you to build on from there. So then you get on board with them and you buy a monthly thing, just like Gary Brecka at the end. He's going to show you what you're deficient in and treat it that way rather than wait for you to get to the bad spot and then try to get you back. And I think he did Dana White, Steve Harvey, Stephen A. Smith, Grant Cardone.
Yeah,
those guys just swear by him.
Yeah, for sure.
Best health they've been in.
I mean, you could see it in Dana's head. Like he went from a pink bowling ball to like he looks really in shape now.
Yep, yeah, and he did that. I think you did a couple weeks before me, the 72-hour fast.
Yeah.
And
did you do one as well?
Yeah, I did one. I did a bad timing. 2 weeks. I just had a tournament this past weekend. Usually I'm 195. I fight at, so I was 194. I said, let me just do that, clean it out, see how I felt. And Friday I did all water, hydrogen water, and Saturday and Sunday bone broth. Nothing else. Didn't get hungry. I work at a rescue on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Still walk the dogs. Got 16,000 steps from 5 to 9 in the morning. Did the jiu-jitsu. Did the same thing Sunday. Not hungry. I got on the scale. I was like 186. So
wow. Okay.
not looking to drop 8 pounds, but same thing. Just felt everything. Even I wasn't flexing, and I was standing there. I don't know if I'm bigger or smaller on the screen.
Yeah.
But everything was tighter or cut more, and it felt good. You look in the mirror like, wow, I thought I looked good. Now I'm even looking better. And same thing. That's inflammation, risk of cancer. And the biggest thing was it's regenerating cells, getting rid of your dead cells.
For sure, yeah.
Stem cells.
Yeah, you go into like autophagy, right? Which is like you basically your body just repairing itself.
Repairs it. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to start doing that every 2 months. My wife actually, we just joined the challenge at the gym we work out, ISI gym, North Scottsdale. It's 2717, iron sharpens iron. So it's a heavy workout we do during the week.
What's 2717?
One of the passages means iron sharpens iron, so friends help friends, and you just kind of push each other there. And they have, this is their first one in North Scottsdale. They're based out of Carolina, so they're trying to open 2 or 3 more, just like F45
Yeah.
or all these other ones that are starting to open in Phoenix area. So kind of doing that. And again, I turned 60 this year, so it's even
Nice.
more healthy. I'm trying to get,
Yeah.
and trying to, like we speak about, trying to do a tournament a month. I just did one last week. I got
Yeah.
one February 10th.
Well, nice work on that. I think maybe the 72-hour fast is not ideal for in preparation for it.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're trying to do that weight class below, maybe, but even then you might go into it feeling a little bit weak.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
How
what
did
I
you
think.
feel going into it?
The
Do you
tough
think it
part
affected
is,
you negatively?
Yeah, the tough part is it's Sunday, and I walk. I can't not miss walking dogs and volunteering at a rescue, and this happened to be somebody was out, so I walked dogs from say 5:30 to 9:30,
Okay.
and then I came home, walked my dog,
Yeah.
had lunch, and I got to the tournament 11:30. I was supposed to fight at 1:30. I didn't fight till 2:30. It's just everything was just a lot. Just standing for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then the bracket I fought again was over 30 instead of my 50 to 59 bracket. So
Yeah.
a 42-year-old was the first fight. Dogged me pretty good. I had a couple shots at him. Armbar, he got out of inverted a couple times or something else. But 15-6, he beat me. And then I got to meet Jay Page,
Yeah.
who was here a couple weeks ago. One of the best guys for Phoenix, Arizona Jiu-Jitsu.
For sure.
Maybe other than
A great proponent of
Gustavo.
it.
Yeah, he's put Arizona on the map. Again, your podcast, 69 or 70 black belts through his school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
impressive.
Super impressed. Yeah. So I got to fight one of his guys in the second round, and it's the always thing I would say perception. Like when you look at somebody, this guy's 6'4", 6'5", 195. He just triangled the guy to match before me.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to handle that match and get in there. And I said, I'm just going to let him take me down, work from guard, which the worst spot to be. But for me, it's a good, I like to be in guard. I like
Yeah.
to I at my level. I can pass and do what I want, I think, against, not against a high level guy. But,
Yeah.
So same thing, 3 or 4 minutes, dogging me through the match. And my wife came to the match because there was nobody else. There were only 3 of us in this tournament. And she never comes because she don't like to see me
Yeah.
in there,
Yeah.
physical, get hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
And the 4 minutes in, the ref gave me a warning for stalling. I was able to work with Issa the week before, and somehow I was able to. Me and Issa were going over something that would help me in my journey, and I was able to reach under with my left hand, grab his left sleeve, and kind of pull that and hold that while I was able to pull his knee down, get my knee past 2 points, side control mount, and wound up beating him 9-0. But
Oh, wow. Nice.
it was a good match going in. When you look across the table at the guy, you're like, this one's not going to be good. Or
Yeah.
not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And it's, again, just perception. You might be better than this
For
guy.
sure.
And
It could be brand new. You never know.
yeah, just
Yeah.
show your skills.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. And let's say I got a couple more coming up. Just trying to push the envelope.
Nice.
And again, my journey started late in life. I think you said 22 you started.
Yeah. About
And-
22, I started like
yeah,
full time.
So look, and the good thing is I'm glad I got in now. After 2 Christmases ago, we had Christmas by your mom's house.
Yeah.
Same thing with Billy, hanging out with the crew, and had a couple good conversations. You kind of got me back into jiu-jitsu. Like
Nice.
you started saying it's not too late. You can get back in.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I always used to be the old guy, and now I'm like even older.
That's
And
okay. It's like they say about like planting trees. It's like the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is today.
Today, yeah.
Yeah. So no time like the present.
Yeah, and I've been with Baisa and Margaret. I mean, 8 months now. It's been great. Got to train with you on Saturdays, and we rolled last night again. Just get to feel your force and your strength and your technique. Just kind of like all the brown belts in there. Like Brett's another guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys realize how much force. And I know you say that about Issa. It's like cement or wood trying to move or
Yeah.
a frame. And
It's like, yeah, I always say it's like when you try to like snap him down like wrestling, it's like trying to snap down a statue. Like it just doesn't move.
yeah,
He's just locked in.
different beast, different animal.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes when I roll with Brett, it's the same thing. He works his worm guard, and when I put my hand down a second, he locks it.
Yeah.
I got to go, like, I'm thinking he's almost breaking my arm. Not this way, like in half. That's
Yeah.
how, like, I can feel his strength come right through my bones. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the one thing I got to worry about, because nobody takes it easy on me there, which is good. Maybe Kate and Alejandra.
Yeah.
But, and I didn't sign up for that, so we do go live and we go all out.
Sure.
And that's the only scary thing. Sometimes my bones don't go as much, my ligaments don't go as much. But
Yeah.
it's been good. And
You just got to take a smart approach to it. And I think you are. You're trying to be really technical and pay attention during class and instruction and really go after it that way. I think part of the problem with sometimes when the young guys start, they're just only relying on strength and just getting after it and trying their hardest. And, that's how you get hurt. Maybe the body's less forgiving the older you get. So that's just a way you can't do it. But as long as you're conscious and don't have too much ego, you're not trying to muscle through something, I think that's the right approach for it.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, good for you. I remember Bill had been telling me for a long time that, there's this guy at my work, John Lombardi, he's, really into it. He doesn't, this was years ago too. He's like, he knows all the positions, he knows a lot of the people, but, he's just super into it. And then, I'd heard you started training and then you started training with us, and it's been really cool watching you do this.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been good. And funny, my wife worked for Sony Corporation back in the late 90s, and one of her contracts was, Sony would do all the production for the UFC, so they would fly us to Vegas, UFC 7, 8, 9. When Pat Miletich was around, Miletich's fighting system, Tim Sylvia.
Oh, wow.
She would be backstage with Matt Hughes, and I'd be like in the crowd and all. And
oh, very cool. Wow.
And even then, I'm like, it just seemed like they're at a different level. Like, why don't you do jiu-jitsu? I'm like, I couldn't compete, and now I'm trying to compete at 59.
Nice, yeah.
And it's like all the time, like you said. So now I'm in it. I got my journey, and I said the good thing is I get to watch your journey.
Yeah.
Next step to black belt, but I got to train with you for 8 months, watch you coach for 8 months. I got to watch you at the ADCCs, which, again, is going to be one of my goals this year. I like to be the ADCC just because of the physicality.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so different. And that's even when we train, even though we go live, it's not that live that when you get in a match and somebody's grabbing you, trying to submit you.
Yeah. It's different. It's like life or death sometimes, especially at the lower skill level. Some of the white belts just go in with just the most life or death attitude. And so you just got to stay calm and remain technical. Actually, the bigger tournaments you do, the better chance you'll have at someone in your weight class or your age range too. Like these sometimes smaller tournaments. I know that first one that I was there for, it was like, I think it was like 18 to 29 and then 30 and up. Usually it's like after 30, it's every 5 years. So it's like 30 to 34, 35 to 39, 40 to 44. So it separates it that way.
That works for me. And then I look at it too. I'm like, well, if you're in my weight division, my belt division, if you're 20 or 60, let's go. I'm going to have the disadvantage, but that's what I'm hoping working at One Love Jiu-Jitsu on everything is my skill set's going to get me through. So I didn't mind in first tournament. Again, you got to coach me. My first time stepping on the mat, and like I said, it gets so real when you take your slippers off, you get on the mat, you shake the ref's hand, you shake your opponent's hand, you don't even have time to get mad at him. And it's grabbing you.
Yeah, and maybe that's not the right attitude to have at it too. You don't necessarily want to fight emotionally. You just want to. There's like a quote like from one of one of the originals that says like, "Don't fight the opponent, like fight his moves." So yeah, it's important not to get too emotional. Just stay technical with it. Also, too, it's a little bit easier. I feel like with jiu-jitsu, sometimes you get like in your own head, or someone will mount you and you'll get pissed off. But it's not like one of the striking arts or MMA where if you get punched in the face, it's almost like a natural reaction just to get angry. And that's not the right way to handle it either.
Yep, yeah, and that's I work with Mario on Mario on Fridays, and that's what he says, because the one match we had, I'm just there. I'm not, and if somebody's grabbing, I'm not trying to get rid of that, because once I go up here comes the triangle. So I'm kind of too rigid. So I've been working with him and had a good roll with my buddy Andrew last night, and it was more flow. More not just this, just trying to move in and out of stuff. But
that's good.
When you're in that tournament, that atmosphere, we do one in March 10th, we got one coming up with Issa. It's Mullet Arena where the Coyotes play. You're in a real, there's 5,000-10,000 people in there, it seems, and it's just the excitement, and you don't want to get out there and get beat. I took off Saturday. My opponent took off Saturday. We paid $100. I'm not coming here to let you.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you think you're a beast or something in your school, whether you're a white belt or brown belt. But there's 50 other schools that have the same beast there that's coming. For sure. To choke you out.
And you never know too, because like you're on one curriculum, they're on a different curriculum. It's like just a really good test of how your skills work against like a resisting opponent. That's just it's a good gauge to see where you're at, like amongst other people.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what he said. Just to get to the next level. Just what's great is when we spar. Like Monday, I think I sparred with Darren, who's
Darren's a fucking tough motherfucker.
So, maybe I shouldn't. roll with him, but I like to roll with him because I want to. It's going to get me tougher. It's going to get me better because I know he's going 100%. He's one of the stronger, tougher guys. So if I could last 2-3 minutes before he gets me, I feel good. I fight him 50 times. I'm going to get beat 50 times, but I just like that extra feel of really getting put in a bad spot. And then same thing rolling with you yesterday. It's all technique and strength, and I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah,
and that's the good thing. Then we have a white belt crew, we have a brown belt crew, blue. It's just good. And then rolling with Issa every once in a while, just feeling that next level. And kind of what Joe Rogan always says, right? You don't know how much trouble you're in until a black belt grabs you.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're untrained and he grabs you, it's over. And if you're trained, you're still in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fun to be had along the whole journey too.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Devil ball.
Devil ball is a blast. Yeah. Well, you're doing great though. I mean, I remember it was like just a couple weeks ago, a Saturday class where only a couple people showed up, and so there was about 3 of them, all white belts. Like, the people, like just a couple of our regulars, and because it was such a small class, me and Brent were like, hey, anything you guys want to work on, we'll just kind of do like a Q&A here. And like one of them was like, okay, well, John just gets me in smash half, like, and I just can't get out. I'm just held there for the entire round. Another guy's like, well, I'm just in half guard, and like John puts me here and I just can't get out. Is there any way? And so we did like a whole class on, they were having a tough time rolling with you. So, and then these are young guys too. So you're doing great.
Chris Columbia. Yeah. Same thing. Great guy. Does well. He's one of those guys you can see he's going to accelerate and he's going to excel.
Yeah, and the more you compete too, I think it takes you to that next level because it sucks losing, and then it also exposes major holes in your game. Like you can just watch film and see, okay, where did I go wrong here, and then have clear direction to go to the gym and see what to work on.
Right. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And then the open mat Saturday helps a lot.
Yeah.
Same thing working with you on just takedowns, just what a feel is if. Again, what I'm grabbing, if I'm grabbing the collar and the sleeve and just moving the person instead of back and forth sideways.
Yeah.
Getting their circles.
For sure. So. Yeah, and like you said too, you like the flow rounds. One thing that I've been trying to do, like anytime I teach, which luckily I just talked to Issa this morning. I'm going to start teaching Wednesday 7 a.m.s now. Moving forward, we're going to do a no-gi class every Wednesday 7 a.m. One thing I've been trying to do is, and you've experienced it on some of my Saturday classes, is like I'll try to do almost like a controlled flow rounds where I'm like telling you guys only go 20%, like only go 50%. And the point of it is to problem solve, to like have more time to react and think through situations. And I think you can have like a lot of progress that way rather than kind of just going fucking balls to the wall every time.
Yeah, that helps. Was that Lex Friedman? That was kind of... You had that from?
So actually, I got it from this guy, Less Impressed, More Involved. That he's actually a purple belt, but really high level breakdowns and just a really smart guy. I really enjoy his YouTube videos, and he was talking about different ways of training. I think he actually pulled it from like B Team, and Danaher does like a big part of that, in situations rather than like saying like, okay, this is the technique, drill it over and over and over. It's like, okay, we're in half guard right now. The goal is underhook. Try to get it. And just kind of do more of these like conceptual drills where how you get to it doesn't necessarily matter as long as you're getting to it, because that's, it's like how I pass guard doesn't, there's a million different ways to do it as long as you can pass guard, so. But
designated winner, right? That's what you. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the designated winner. Right. So like how we'll do it is like if it's guard passing, the top person passing the guard is a designated winner. They should pass guard eventually, but the bottom person give real resistance. That's just not 100%. So you both are going 50% or whatever, and take it slow and try to really see, okay, where's my issue in passing the guard.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. And again, it's just a different style going through. Getting a different taste of everything instead of going all out 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, one thing, I got a couple things to... So again, got me back in. I appreciate it. That first Saturday, I got to see you there. I was pumped up. I said, been going hard ever since.
Awesome, yeah.
Got me in a twister, my first twister. You put me in. That was awesome. Yeah. You coached me on the sidelines. I appreciate it. You could have been doing anything else that day. You got me in there, got me a win. Wound up,
Hell yeah.
I won the first, lost 2. Talked me through to change my strategy because they're going to double leg take me down. I wound up winning the 4th one, and then we won 5th match, which got me a 3rd place.
Which kudos to you. I've told that story a couple times. Like,
it just felt good, and I tell everybody, I said, man, Joey, every match, I said I was trying to listen to you, but after the match, we went on the side, did a couple things, sunk in, did something else. I got tapped out twice in a row, like the second and third match, but you changed something there.
Which, by the way, those two guys that you lost to, I mean, 25-year-old juice heads, just juice to the gills. And also, both of them had wrestling experience. One of them, like, wrestled all 4 years of high school. The other one wrestled in college. It's like, buddy, you're not a white belt if you've been grappling for, 5 years plus.
Yeah, I wasn't beating them on my best day, but yeah, that was good. I said, from there, you got me my first set of syringes so I could drain my ears.
Yep.
I'm here today, so I brought a couple gifts. Like,
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I know we talk about food restaurants and drinking and all. So,
I'm excited about that. I'm a huge foodie as well.
First one is
Oh, wow.
old fashioned.
Nice.
We got our bourbon.
Well, thank you very much.
We got our smoker.
Ooh, wow. Look at this.
My wife has. The funny thing is, we were and you sent me over to Bourbon and Bones to try that place, right? So
Yeah.
me and my wife went there. I ordered an old fashioned and an Aperol spritz. The guy comes back to the table and gives me the old fashioned. My wife the old. I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
My wife's the hard drinker. She drinks the
Nice. She likes old fashions.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my poison as well. I really like these.
She got this machine called Bartesian.
Yeah.
And now it's just got the pods. She put the pod in, and she can have her drink.
Okay, it just you just makes it by itself.
Makes about you got vodka, rum, gin. and
Nice.
extra.
Wow.
And then
Now I could do it legit.
I think I got something else first for that. Oh, I got the butane for the smoker.
Oh, wow. This is the whole setup.
I think I even got the cherries. Yeah, because they're hard to find.
Wow.
Only thing I
You're not
missed
messing around here.
was the bitters. I figured there's different kinds, but this
Oh,
is.
that's okay. I actually have bitters
I
here.
got some sake for when you had Coulter here,
Yeah.
basketball and Freddie.
Yeah.
When they
we
come
were doing the
back-
sake bombs. This is some
Yeah.
nice sake, too. We can't bomb this. This has
Yep.
got to be like by itself.
Yep.
Black and gold. Wow. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
This is awesome.
That was some crew. I was just listening to that interview. Like I said, you four guys could go anywhere and have a good time. There don't need to be women around. There don't need to be.
Yeah. Well, we had
It's-
Coulter that
yeah,
time, so
that's
he was the
And then I started thinking, I said, man, that's a dangerous crew. I said, what if you pull up behind these guys, you hammering on the horn and not pulling,
Yeah.
and you got these four guys come out, and then you start thinking jiu-jitsu, you say, all right, I'm in a room, I
Yeah.
got to get, which guy, like, pick your poison. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's got such a talent.
Yeah.
And even Freddie on those interviews, like I said, if he's looking to drop some weight and this and that, the biggest thing he said was his potential. Like, if he don't get there, he could be an ADCC champion.
Oh, he's so athletic,
Yeah.
especially for how big he is. He's
Yeah.
extremely athletic. Just one of those natural athletes type of person.
Yep.
But yeah, he's got to cut some lbs.
And he does, and he'll get there. And then Coulter is I don't know, just the skill set. Just watching him, he does real jujitsu.
He's very technical as well. He's like really a fan of like the philosophical part of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and he reminds me of like Brandon at our gym, or Mario at our gym, or
Yeah.
Luke at our gym. These guys you can't pin them down, you can't move them. These guys are on top of you, behind you, around you,
For sure.
and you're choked. Whereas other guys have just different. I know, said Brett goes from Wormguard. Greg, who teaches Tuesday class I do with him, he's more De La Hiva and more on top and control. Again, just a strong base, strong everything. Just
For sure. Yeah, we get some really tough guys at our gym, for sure.
Yeah, and just seeing different styles that work for their game. That's their game, and that's how they get there. So it's good that you could get a feel for everything and see where you go with that. So we're talking about food also. So when me and my wife moved here in 2007, same thing. Even today, we have no family here. It's just me and my wife with German Shepherd. From
And where'd you
day
move
one.
from?
From New Jersey.
Is that where you were born?
Yeah.
Born and raised in Jersey?
Jersey. Yeah, I remember you said your father is it Brooklyn?
Yeah,
Somewhere in New
Brooklyn.
York?
Born
Yeah.
and raised over there.
Yep. Yeah, I worked in New York City, Plumbers Pipe Fitters Union for 20 years before we moved out here. But we had a plan, 10-year plan when we got married, because my wife's mother and father got divorced when she was 10. So every summer she would come out here and spend 3 months with her dad out here. So that was always a goal. So when we got married, that was our 10-year plan. We'll move to Arizona and spend our life here. So it's been great. Miss some of the friends in New Jersey, but other than that, just the quality of life out here, you can't beat. I mean,
Right. Weather's a lot better, right?
Yeah. It was always gray skies, rain, snow, humidity, traffic.
And so is your
pollution.
wife from New Jersey as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Huh.
Same town. Yep. Same
Wow.
town.
How long have you guys been together?
94.
Wow. And
Yeah,
so
so
how old were you guys when you met?
Let's see. 94. So I was
So
30.
it's 20 years or 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah. 30. So yeah, we met in 94, got married in 98. We had wedding out in Cancun. Went to an island wedding.
Nice.
Had about 54 people come out with us. Good time. Everybody was vacation
Mm-hmm.
and that. And yeah, our plan was to get out here and live life. And
Nice. And you're doing it.
yeah, I don't know if I would have done half the stuff I've done here because back east, you're cooped up 3 or 4 or 5 months, depending on how the winters go.
Yeah.
We're out here, we're outside full time.
Yeah,
and
all year round. In the summer, it's hot, but you can still get outside and do whatever.
yeah, still
Yeah.
busy. Still, that's what I tell people. You still got to wait for restaurants. Costco's still busy. The golf course, people
Yeah.
are still out there playing. So we moved out to North Scottsdale. So we're up by almost Cave Creek. So just me and her, we built a new house in a new development, 2007, right before the crash.
Oh, great time to do it.
Yeah. So 52 houses were supposed to go up. We were like house 16, and when we got in, they still didn't build maybe house 17 yet.
Oh,
It just,
wow.
everything went bad, and it was just us two up there, and we'd walk our dog at night, Alfredo.
Yeah, through
And
the
nev-
empty community.
Never see anybody. Like, man, are we the only people here? Like, it's just unbelievable.
Huh. Is it? You still live at that house?
No, we wound up moving down to the 51 and 101, Triple Crown.
Okay.
Just a smaller development, more desert up there, cactus, and then
Yeah.
where we are is palm trees, oranges, lemons, grapefruits, grass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you drive down the street like anything, and people coming from the East Coast, even us, when we didn't realize just here desert. It's just a desert.
Yeah.
And there's more green, more grass, more parks than most places when you get into the city and all.
For sure, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the community too. I really like certain areas like that where it's like each house is unique. There's a lot of stuff. There's this place in like downtown, or maybe it's called Uptown Phoenix, just on the north side of the 10, like between 7th Ave and 7th Street. That is like, I think it's called Palm Avenue, and like it's just palm trees throughout the whole way. Every house is completely unique. A lot of people grow citrus, like have orange trees surrounding the whole property, so it's really cool.
It is. Yeah, when we get friends in, we take them to the Quarter or Kierland. The same thing. You look over here, there's just 100 palm trees perfectly in a row.
Yeah.
Everything's, and you just don't realize you're in the desert.
Yeah.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
It's cool. Yeah.
You know, Phoenix, 5th biggest city
Yeah.
in America.
You know,
It's-
Arizona has like a really diverse environment. Like you'll be down here, and like on the outskirts, it's deserty. In turn, you know, there's a lot of different plants that are grown. But then you could go to Flagstaff. It's like snowing, completely different.
Nice, yep.
You know, vegetation up there, and then everything in between those elevations.
Yeah, and I think 2007 or 2008, we moved here. We went to Flagstaff, rented a cabin, wood cabin. Got up there, it was 2 feet of snow, maybe minus 6 degrees. And same thing, we used to snap pictures, send them back on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, where are you guys in Colorado?
Yeah,
Like, no, we're in
Arizona.
Arizona. Like, no, really, where are you? We're like, we're
Yeah.
punch it up. And same thing, just don't realize. And then you drive back to Phoenix, and it might be 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Just a big difference.
Yeah,
but-
it's incredible. It's only 2 hours away too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many places in between that are really cool.
Good, yep.
Yeah.
I used to find articles because every once in a while we would be the hottest in the country and the
Yeah.
coldest. And if you found that June
At the
day
same
and you
time,
found the
yeah.
Arizona Republic, and I'd save them, showing them off. But yeah, it's just such diverse weathers, and that's what my wife's dad, before he passed, he didn't like Phoenix. It was a little too hot for him, a little too crowded, so he moved up to Rimrock, exit 289 on 17, and he had the seasons. You know, he had maybe. It got to 25 and it got to 85, and that was just perfect.
Oh, that is
climate-
nice.
climate
Yeah.
for him, so he enjoyed that.
Wow.
So yeah, that was good. And I said we started making food lists. I know we were
Okay,
talking about
yeah.
food. So as we were making them, I have best breakfast, best burger, best American,
Oh wow.
best
You
Mexican.
get the whole spreadsheet.
Yep, best steak, best seafood, best pizza,
Nice.
best Italian,
Okay, let me see one of these.
and also I got a couple copies for you. But
Wow.
we would do that, and it was because too when I was working, my first job was building a casino out here.
Yeah.
The guys would go to the same place every week. I was like, "How was your weekend?" "Oh, we went to here for dinner." I'm like, "Didn't you go there last week?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." Then I see them the next week. "Oh, how was your weekend?" "Good." Went out with the kids and then went to here for dinner. I'm like, "That's 3 weekends in a row." I was like, "There's plenty of places out there."
Yeah.
So I started making them a list, and then me and my wife would make sure we would go to a different place every weekend. And we did a Friday dinner, maybe a Saturday breakfast, Saturday dinner, Sunday brunch, and I just kept a list. And we've been to almost all the places on that list. And then
Wow.
if I ran into somebody to give me a place, and I
Yeah.
would go there and then move it up or down on my list. And basically, Phoenix Magazine I would get, and go into the back of the Phoenix Magazine, they would have any of the new restaurants that came out, and I'd
Yeah.
go through the dining guide.
Oh wow.
It's funny because Pizza City, Phoenix, got best pizza in America, and everybody thinks.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
New York,
In America,
Chicago.
yeah, everyone says East Coast. I haven't tried it yet. Have
Yeah.
you gone?
Where's that?
The pizza place? The
Yeah.
Pizza Bianco?
Yeah, I've been to pizza. Pomo Pizza is my favorite. Pizza Bianco's one of the best. They'll get anywhere from number 5 to 20 in the country all the time.
Yeah.
Movie stars come there and all, but he's got some business. He's from New York. I think he was from the Bronx.
Wow.
But it's funny because this was one of the magazines, and I forget the.
Wow, you got some sweet spots here. I'd agree with you on a lot of this stuff too. So some of the stuff I've never been to.
Right, and
I'm gonna have to start like
people,
use this as a checklist. Me and Taylor are gonna have to go and knock off the spots we never been.
Right, and some of them are just different. Like even breakfast, I got the Henry. It doesn't have the pancakes or French toast, but when you walk in, the ambiance.
Oh, it's
the
super
booths,
cool.
They have the pastry car here. They have and everything. You sit down. They only have 7 or 8 breakfasts, but they're just
So
perfectly
good.
done,
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, you know, it's one of the Fox concepts.
Yep.
You know, like Sam Fox, he's got also like Olive and Ivy is one of the best. Have you been to that one?
Yes,
Is that on the list?
That's on the list.
Yeah.
he just opened up the hotel on
44th and Camelback. Yeah. Yeah, the Global Ambassador. Yep.
And I think we got Sunday. I think I'm going to brunch there. But same thing. You're 4 weeks out to even get a reservation.
Yeah, exactly.
On something like that. But his name's on there, and that's drawing everybody.
Yeah,
there.
it's going to be 6 unique restaurant concepts, is what I've heard.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So something that he's never done before on all 6 of them.
Yep. And then you got all the celebrity chefs. You got Bo McKellen with Elements. You got where Massimo works, Mora.
Okay, I've never been there.
Yeah, there's so many good ones. That's a good place to go with a good crew.
Wow.
And all, but yeah, Marcelino's is my favorite Italian. And same thing, just the way they do everything.
Marcelino's, I've never been to that one.
Yeah.
Fat Ox is really good. I love that one.
Another good one. And
Tommy V's is solid. It's right down the road here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fat Ox. I'm forgetting his name. He owns the Mission, Fat Ox, and another one, a Zinc Bistro.
Oh, okay, huh? Yeah, the Mission is great too. I saw that was like second on your best Mexican.
Yeah.
That's really good tacos.
They do a good job there.
Yeah, they do really good there.
But that's what we do. We're just foodie people. Again, no kids. I have the one German Shepherd, Baron now. So that's our life. We go to Vegas for our vacation. Instead anywhere good, we go to Vegas for our vacation, and we hit all the food spots there. We'll go to California, hit all the food spots.
Nice.
And do that.
That is great. I'm a huge foodie myself. I love just going to a nice dinner, just getting wined and dined.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's such a nice experience. A nice cocktail, nice old fashioned.
It's funny too. The old fashioned bourbon and bones was $22, which nowadays seems average.
Yeah.
And then if you got the round cube,
it's
was
like
$25.
Yeah, exactly. $3 just for that cube.
I'll crunch it at the end too. I'll get my $3.
Right? Isn't that wild?
Go.
Yeah, they'll like imprinted on it as well. I think the B&B. Yeah, a lot of places do that.
Yep.
Yeah. What's it called? I think you've got it on here. Buck and Ryder. Too, also, it's your number one. That's a really great seafood.
I got Saturday night going there with friends of ours, Christy and Jonah. Yeah, that's again seafood in Arizona.
Yeah.
It's the best. Like and everywhere nowadays it's flown in. Right? You could be.
It's flown fresh daily. Yeah. Well, also too, that's one people's misconception too. They think that because we're in the desert, we're far away from an ocean, it may not be as fresh. But if you go to even a coastal seafood place, like 80 to 90% of their seafood is flown in. It doesn't come like straight from that coast. Right. It comes from Alaska or wherever. There's like a dozen different places that it gets flown in from.
Yep. You're in New York. It ain't coming from the East River to Hudson.
No, so exactly.
Everything is flown. Everything's top shelf at these places. And these places are so good now that it's so busy that you can't even walk in and sit at a bar. Yeah. Like you got to have reservations to sit
even at the sit of the bar. Yeah, the Buck and Ryder is that for
waiting
sure.
List.
You can't just call and even get in the same day.
Steak 44 is the same way. You want to sit at the bar, you got to put a reservation in or you go somewhere else.
I just went to that for the first time actually when a good friend and client of mine, we closed a deal together. We just ate a steak 44. It's real good.
Yeah, they do a great job. And my sister came in on vacation with some of her friends, and she's been in the dining business and all her whole life, waitressing, doing managing. And same thing, she would look at the glasses, the china, like everything. She's like, this is just top of the line. She's like, nobody does this stuff.
Yeah.
And the service, and you get in there, there's 5 people at the desk. Everybody comes by. You got the whole seafood station in front of you, the booths and all. Yeah, they just.
Here's one thing. Have you been to Nobu yet?
Haven't been to Nobu.
Yeah.
That one opened down by Ocean 44 by Camelback.
Yeah, it's right in it's actually right next to Toca Moderna. Okay. They almost you could throw a football and hit it from Toca Moderna. Okay. Yeah, that one, it's fantastic. If you're just there for food quality and taste, it's absolutely delicious. But the price is almost like comically expensive. Yeah, like me and one other person went, and it was like, I think after tip, $600. And it's like we didn't even go crazy either. It was just like
you might still be little hungry.
We had
In-N-Out.
Chick-fil-A or something later that night. Yeah.
Right, yep.
Yeah, we were still hungry after. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible, but I mean, you really pay for it. We I got these Wagyu tacos. So you're imagining like a taco comes out. I swear to God, it's probably like the half my thumb. Was it like just a little tiny,
taste.
a little tiny bite, and they were $20 each.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I dropped like a little piece. I'm like, all right, that's $5 right there.
I think Monarch Cafe is another place like that. It's one of those places, two people, $600.
Yeah.
You go there once in a while, special occasion, and everything's just top service, but presentation wise and
Yeah.
all.
You know, one thing I really do like about those type of places is like they'll serve you something and like, are you familiar with how this is enjoyed? And they're like, don't use your hands, don't use your fork, use your hand for this, and then move this around or do whatever.
Yeah, give you the how-to guide. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the night, it's just one of those great experiences.
Yeah.
Dining experience that you can see.
Yeah.
And there's more of them out here. Again, it's just Scottsdale itself. We just had the Barrett Jackson auction. It's in five or six places in the United States: Palm Springs, Vegas, Miami. You know, you're in a hub, and spring training out here. Just everything out here, environment-wise.
Yeah, just incredible.
Is so good. And just the biggest thing is, again, just sunlight every day. Every day you walk out, there's a blue sky. Gets you ready for the day.
I probably take it a little bit for granted because I've just been born and raised here, so I just like I'm used to the sunlight. But yeah, if anything, I honestly enjoy the overcast days because it's like it's less common.
Yep,
I like to see a little bit of rain, a little bit of overcast. I like it all, but
Yeah.
I love the sunlight too. I couldn't imagine like sometimes it'll like rain for like a week straight, or I'll go to like Illinois or something and it's like raining the whole time. I'm like I couldn't imagine just living like this all the time.
That's
Like
really good.
Seattle or something where it's like 3 weeks of sunshine a year. Other than that, it's just raining all the time.
It's tough because I tell people too. Anytime you had a party on a weekend or something, you'd have a rain date, like in case it rained, or you'd already have tents rented and stuff. And just plan
A
big-
rain date?
Yeah, because party is March 17th to 19th, and rain date's the 24th to the 20th.
I
Just because
gotcha.
if it rains,
Just in case, yeah.
they just move it.
Oh,
And
wow, huh.
Same thing. Plan a big weekend down the Jersey Shore or something, and you get rained out for 3 or 4 days.
God, that sucks.
So yeah, it's just my wife just never enjoyed her time there. Her friends were great, family was great, but it's just a different world, and it's just our life now. Which I know, like I said, you talk about you and Taylor. Always good to see. Like I said, watching your interviews, your conversations are so easy.
Yeah,
they just flow.
with
right?
her, yeah.
and you can see that spark and everything there. And then I always notice too, like so you just keep each other in check. And all.
Yeah.
With every conversation, with every, so you guys are just so good together. And that's the other thing too. Now, again, you and Taylor's journey. She knows what you do. She competes. She does this. It's just part of your life together now going
for
forward.
sure.
So.
Yeah, it seems like we have such a like synergistic relationship where it's like we're just both very supportive of each other. Like any differences, we're just completely accepting of. She's just such like a great like teammate for anything that I'm trying to do. She's just extremely supportive, down to help in any way.
Yep,
She was conducting interviews at the last Jiu-Jitsu event. And she's great. We've been having so much fun together.
Yeah, I got to hang out with her a lot at the ADCCs. She got there early. Got to meet up with her.
Yeah.
And then it was funny. I caught up with you, and we just did a quick photo with Don Fry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We've been there,
Yeah.
I've been seeing him lately a lot, and Mark Coleman and stuff. And the funny thing is, I was watching those guys do UFC when they first started out, and then when we seen Don Fry there, I'm like, man, this guy's been beaten up.
Yeah.
Still gonna beat up 95% of the people on earth.
Yeah.
But you can see he's been through wars.
Yeah,
and
for
the way
sure.
he talked, and then Mark Coleman, I've been seeing him, like I said, and again, my journey now just started. So I'm looking at these guys who are younger than me. It's hard to believe both of those guys are younger than
Oh
me.
wow, huh?
And I'm like, man, I said, maybe I'm in a good spot now. I'm preserved. Right now I can fight because these guys can't even walk some days. I'm looking at them. Not that I don't have that same issue getting up off the floor some days, which is my wife gets a kick out of it because I say like in the last 6 months I've been to urgent care maybe 4 or 5 times. Just
Oh wow,
fractured right elbow, fractured left elbow.
All from jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Ah, gosh.
A couple different arm bars. Got my ears pretty cool. Got my ears drained, lanced a couple
Yeah.
times. Now I just kind of like. Now I just leave them big.
You got a little cauliflower now?
Yeah.
Nice.
Now I'm just tired of draining them.
Yeah.
But the one time it happened, I had to go to the urgent care, and young nurse, maybe 25 years old, is in there, and I said, I feel bad. Maybe it was a Friday at 5 o'clock. I'm in the last pay. I said, I can wait and wait. She's like, no, what's going on? I'm like, my ears got to get drained. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I said, there's going to be blood. I don't want to bother you.
Yeah.
She's like, are you kidding me? The guy before you had bellyache. He said, this is what we want to do. And she's in there, she's cutting, blood coming out of this ear, blood coming out. She's wrapping my head, sticking gauze in there.
Was
And
she made an incision and push it out?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she cut them both, and she was squeezing them, and blood everywhere, blood there.
Whoa.
She kept putting rag down after rag down,
Wow.
and she's like,
I've never seen it that way. I don't know if that's the ideal way.
Yeah.
You had to get like stitches afterwards? Did she stitch you
I-
back?
no, I got like a
Little butterflies or something?
no, just a little gash.
Oh, just a little tiny incision.
Yeah,
Huh.
incision, but she was just squeezing, and then she just stuffed it with everything, and then she just wrapped my head like 6 times,
Wow.
squeezing together, and she's like, this is good. This is what we wanted to do. We want to do something good like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I said, I thought you'd like the bellyache one. She's like, no, that's no fun. So
Huh. The only problem with that is I typically, like, anytime I've gotten a cauliflower ear, it's like I need to drain it every day for a week straight, and then it like is finally calmed down because it usually repuffs up every day.
yeah, and that's what I've been doing lately. Again, and like you said, 3 or 4 days.
I can get you more
but it's
needles if you
just,
want. I've got like 100 of them.
I was gonna hit you up. I hit up, went on Amazon and got like got 50 of them. But
Okay.
the tough part sometimes it's this ear, and I can't see in the mirror. My wife won't come near me with a needle, so I'm trying to do it backwards and
Yeah.
still draining it. So
Yeah.
I kind of got the hang of it now.
Nice. Yeah, you got to figure out where in your ear is the right spot.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm getting all blood rather than getting that pocket. Of pus
Yeah,
and
although
everything
it's sometimes
else.
it'll look like a light colored blood, but sometimes it does look like blood too.
Yeah.
If your ear is not drained at all, typically you're not able to just suck blood out of it.
Yep. I got
Yeah.
You. Yeah. So between that, then, and like I said, it's sometimes I get home from class, and same thing. My wife comes in. She's like, "Any injuries tonight?" It's like, "No." I said they took it easy. I got beat up a little bit, and then It's funny. I'll take my dog for a quick walk, take Baron for a quick walk, jump in the shower, and then get out. And I'll put on my glasses. I'll put on my hearing aids because we're watching something. And then we go to bed. I'm playing with the dog. I can't even get up off the floor. My knees hurt.
Oh gosh.
I get to the bed. I put on my CPAP machine. She's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "You can't do jiu-jitsu no more." I'm like, and then she comes and watch me Sunday. She's like, "How are you like moving like that when you can't even get off the ground?" I'm like, "That's go time." I'm like, that's what I live for. I says, "Now that's my journey now." I said, till I'm 70 years old is towards my black belt. You know, I'm just trying to position myself here for another year, 2 years.
Yeah.
And I said, that's my goal. But I said, I'll get there.
Yeah.
I says, but it's funny because there's days I can't even move, and I get off the floor. I'm like, and I get to the tournament or I get to 5:30 class. We roll for 20 minutes.
You
then
actually
we go
feel
live.
better after a class because I'll feel real tired,
Yeah.
body beat up or something, and then after a class, it's like you're loosened up. You do feel a little bit better after.
Yeah. Once I get there, I guess just everything flows.
Yeah.
And same thing with workouts. It's just that your bones ache after, again. Gonna be
Seems like you're
60,
doing a
so
lot of
it's-
the right stuff though, as
Yeah.
far as recovery. Maybe adding even more into it, like cold plunges or like hot sauna or anything like that.
Yeah, I started at this place, the Ice Box.
Oh, I think you were telling me about
October. So I do. I go. It's 25 sessions a month. So I go almost every day. I go sometimes twice on Saturday and Sunday. I do 3 minutes in the Ice Box, and it's minus 166.
it. Ice box? Is it a bath or a?
No, just like a freezer. Open up
Okay,
and
it's
just-
like a cryotherapy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
And it's minus 166. I just got up to 18. I'm at minus 186, and that's now you got to have a mask on too because it's hard to breathe in there. So
Yeah, you can't breathe that like it's like nitrous oxide or
and it's
something.
it's not as the cold plunge is still tougher. I do that a couple times. a week.
Yes.
And that's 50 degrees, and that's still tough. But
Wow.
I go in this thing for 3 minutes, and then they got the Normatec boots. I do that for 25, and I go back in the ice box and go
Yeah.
home.
I think the cold plunge does have more benefits to it because you get colder in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to manage the cryotherapy, but in the cold plunge, I mean, you feel it instantly.
Instantly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it don't get any easier the first time, the 100th
Yeah.
time going in there. And it's 4 minutes that's beneficial. So
Yeah.
again, I try anything that can help me. And we were at dinner a couple weeks ago, and my buddy's talking about I'm trying to get him on this, the PEMF mat. I said pulse electric magnetic field mat. Ground myself while I'm at my desk. I try to do whatever else I can push on him fast. Macros. Try to explain to him how to break that down. He's like, why are you doing all this? And I'm like, oh, so I can live longer. He's like, well, how you don't want to live to 100? I'm like, I said, yeah. I said, if I can get to 110,
Yeah.
I'll take it. He's like, why do you want to live that long? I'm like,
Yeah.
and my whole thing, me and my wife do is we're into dog rescue. Like that's our passion. So
Yeah.
we belong to West Side German Shepherd in LA. We go 3 or 4 times a year. And I'm actually doing a 5K in March 18th, I think. And we'll be out there for 3 days. We meet all our friends, go out. Then we do the 5K in the morning at Dodger Stadium. And actually, the a couple of years before COVID, I would do that, and I would go to Gracie University, and I'd go train with Henner or Hiron over there.
Oh, wow,
when
that's
I
cool.
belonged to Gracie.
Yeah.
I'd do that, and then I'd go back to the rescue. I'd walk dogs for 4 or 5 hours, then we'd go to dinner, meet some other friends. With that, and since then, we belong to a Saving Paws Rescue right here in Glendale on 38th Ave in Union Hills. So that's my passion. Every Saturday and Sunday, I'm one of those annoying guys that get up at 4 o'clock every morning, and I got my dogs out every morning. My day starts like that. 4:30, I get back. I have a massage chair. I jump in my massage chair. I
Nice.
get my 2 hard-boiled eggs, my berries, and I go have my first meal of the day, get on my computer.
Wow.
A little while later, and this is all like diet stuff and all I try to push on people. I said, if you're having 21 meals a week, basically, have 16 good meals. You could have 5 cheat meals. You can go for your steak. You could have then 17 at 4. And I work with a lot of younger guys in my local, James Watson, who's expecting a son in April. And
Oh, wow.
my other buddy, Dalton Middleship, they're both, say, 20 years old when they started me 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 19. And it's the same thing. I try to not push it on them, but try to say, here, you got to have a path. Right? Here's my journey. Here's what I'm doing. I try to get them to the food part. And then James started doing Muay Thai. He competes once in a while. My buddy Dalton was doing this. These are just younger guys. Just like when I'm at class, sometimes I try to grab all the younger guys and try to get them to keep going. I said, hey, it's tough right now. You're 20 years old. I said, look over there. I said, Joey's 30. You could be 2 years better than him. And 28, you could be a brown belt. Just think about that. Think about that journey and where you want to be. And I says, it's always about your mission, your journey, what you're doing, what you're giving back to. So since we do the rescue work, me and my wife, I do Monday to Friday. I'm up walking my dogs at 4. I work my day, do the training, do the jiu-jitsu. Saturday morning, same thing. I'm up 4 a.m. because I got to be at the rescue at 5. Sunday morning, I got to get up at 4 because I got to be at the rescue at 5. I would love to have a weekend off. I haven't in 2 years. But
Wow, that's every Saturday, Sunday. You go and you just go there and like walk the dogs, or
I'm the first one there, so I let the first 3 out into the pens. I clean them up. I bring them in, give them their food, take 3 more out, and then at 6 o'clock we have 2 more people. 6:30 we have two more people, and then we just start walking dogs. And I can't take off because I can't ever leave these dogs. Like if I don't go there and somebody else don't go now, there's only 23 dogs to walk there, but maybe only 16 get out. Or they only get a shorter walk. So,
and so is it like all these dogs trying to get adopted?
Yes, yeah. And most of them at this place, Trish Houlihan runs Saving Paws Rescue. I want to say plus or minus 200 dogs total. And thank God there's a lot of fosters. We got some adopters, but some of them are at the house, and we have another place up in Cave Creek at the ranch. And the ones where I'm at are more the medical dogs. Maybe they have different medical conditions that aren't going to get them adopted, whether they're 3-legged or incontinent or a couple other things.
What's
heart
incontinent
problems.
mean?
They can't control when they go to the bathroom.
Oh, I gotcha.
They got to be in their own place. And just there's some dogs there at 2, 4, and 6 years that now I can't ever leave these dogs. Like
you know them. These are your buddies.
Sometimes they're having a bad day. I just sit in the cage with them and pet them and tell them everything's okay. You didn't do nothing wrong. And it's we got into the rescue here because like 2 years ago my wife lost her dad, and then 2 years ago I lost my mom. So that was like a good getaway, like just to get away from life. And I go walk dogs, and it's one of those things. You could walk dogs for 4 hours. Like an old Jim Valvano thing was, every day you should laugh, you should be in thought, and you should almost cry a little. Like just if you could do those 3 emotions, it's a good day. That was his speech on cancer and all. And I can go there and again just walk dogs for 2 hours if I want to think about my mom, Carrie's dad, my sister, like anything, and just get a good day. And then when I'm done at 9 o'clock, I go do jiu-jitsu 9:30 to 12, and I get that. Then I start my day. So it's just, and it's more just giving back. And that's why I was telling this guy, if I could lift to 110, I got my Social Security checks, my pension checks, my investment checks. You could put me in the corner and prop me up. I can. That check goes to a rescue, helping animals. So again, if that's my passion, that's what I'm here for, giving back and doing that. So that's one of the things. It's just hard to miss, and that's why we haven't even been on vacation a lot lately, because
You gotta do that on the weekend. What do you do? You would have to take off a week to during the weekdays.
I think April we're doing the run in March, and it's weird. Even when I would do the run, one year my wife didn't go with me; she wasn't feeling good. I get up at like midnight and I drive to Dodger Stadium. I get there at 6. I would do the run, go to breakfast with the team, go to Gracie, go walk dogs, and drive home and get home at midnight, like a 24-hour.
Oh, wow.
just to not miss my dog.
Wow.
And get home. So it's kind of odd like that, but
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
my priority is to just help these animals. So
Wow. Usually with no kids, you have more freedom, but you're locked into that.
I'm locked in. Yeah, my day is just starting. The good thing is class is 5:30 or 7. I walk my dog, take my shower, see my wife for 10 minutes, say hello,
Yeah.
and then I'm asleep. The good thing I'm asleep 8 o'clock because I get up 4 o'clock, so I get my 8 hours sleep,
Nice.
which again just gets me to the diet part. Is again just eating whole foods with Gary Brecker, farm to table.
Yeah.
The best you could do. You don't eat anything that doesn't have labels. Not that you can't. Like I tell people too. I've been here 17 years. It's easy for me to say. I've never been to a drive-through. Like I've never had chicken wings. I've never had nachos.
Oh,
I've
wow.
never had a soda. Like there's just stuff I don't eat because it's not value added. And can I have cookies and donuts? Yeah. Do I choose to? Once in a while.
Yeah.
You know. But otherwise, I'm trying to live. I'm in a good spot financially. With me and my wife, been together 30 years. We have everything. I just need to live now. I just need to survive and go
Yeah.
there. And that's why she thinks jiu-jitsu, maybe I should make the turn and go play pickleball. I was trying to tell her, this is even driving me more now.
Yeah.
Like I want to be in the best shape. I want to fight. I want to do this. I want to compete
Yeah.
at a higher level.
I see what you mean. You're trying to do everything that adds to quality of life.
Yeah, quality of life and letting
The
me
diet is a huge part of that, and jiu-jitsu is a huge part of that for me, especially as well. It just you definitely have to take an approach that is body conscious, and I think you're doing all the right stuff right now. You're trying to be very technical. You're paying attention a lot during classes and trying to just work through technique and not muscle stuff. And I think the more advanced you get, I think actually the easier it'll be on your body, because it's almost like when you're Danaher has a great quote actually, is that more people have been hurt by white belts with good intentions than by black belts with bad intentions. Because, like a black belt with bad intentions is just going to bully you, essentially,
Right.
Take your back and strangle you, but it's not going to hurt you. A white belt is going to try to pass your guard and end up kneeing you in the nose or something, or, cranking on a submission because they don't realize that they have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the good thing training to you, just the respect everybody has for each other.
Yeah.
And for the sport and for jiu-jitsu. I mean, you just thanking everybody for what they do. Just telling us weekend matches, just everybody out there, the amount of respect. Again, we punched, get in there, you shake hands afterwards, you're hugging them. But it's just amazing, the community in jiu-jitsu itself, and especially at One Love Jiu-Jitsu. It's One Love. So the thing would be, if I go work at LA Fitness or EOS, nobody even talks to me. Nobody even looks at me.
Yeah,
I go in here. The good thing too is you're accepted at least. Like, hey, what's going on? How's this? What are you doing for the weekend?
Yeah.
And you get to have different conversations with different people. I'm talking to 20-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 60-years, and vice versa. So it's good, and just to have different conversations.
Yeah, the community aspect of it is super cool.
Yeah.
It's been one of the really coolest things. Like I've got friends all over the state now, and like I'll go to these jiu-jitsu competitions. I'll see 100 different people that I know, because just going from different open mats and talking to different people, and it's like I've got like roots in the community in so many different locations that it's really cool.
And you're well respected, because again you go the extra mile to make sure somebody else is taken care of or do the right thing by people, which is good. That's what I was telling your mom the other day. Like, it's just, you got that, certain people have that quality that like you draw people to you. Like you want to hang out. I want to hang out with Joe. I want to be on his podcast. I want to learn from him.
Yeah.
Even if they run into you once or twice, I said they'll remember you. Like, man, that guy was rock solid.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, and you see that with your interviews with the different people that have been here, between like Jay Page, Nez, Aaron Wilson, and the other guy who's done unbelievable. And he was here. He was saying he's 34 and maybe he's done competing. And then last month he's on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah.
Like submission at a night.
Killing
almost.
it. Yeah.
And, like just high level jiu-jitsu. And at the end, what do you say when they interview him? He's blessed.
Yeah.
Like he's just exactly what we all
just
should
very
be.
grateful.
Grateful and blessed to be here, to pass on, to give it back, to train. Same like Issa, same like Mike Martin from Strongheart, John Cabay. I trained at Gracie with Adam Edison. The best people. Like they don't have no agenda. They're helping you.
It's
like,
super cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like jiu-jitsu almost molds men and like just people in general, because like, especially at the beginning, you maybe go in with this big ego, but it's not going to last You know, that you're just going to get beat up hundreds or thousands of times. And you got to just let that go eventually and just realize, you know, sort of submit to the sport or submit to the art that like, you know, the difference between you and this guy that's submitting you is just mat time. It's the only difference. It's the difference in time you've been there.
Yeah. And you need, as individuals, you need something like that. Like that was maybe one thing that was missing from my life, because I was just, again, not many friends, not, you know, no family. It was just me and my wife. And now, like I said, I go there, and like I said, whether we play devil ball, whether we're bullshitting before or after, or like when Issa has a party, we had I guess it was a Christmas party we had, or end of the year, and we had a belt ceremony.
Yeah.
Here's Issa Abel, 2-stripe black belt, one of the best competitors there is in his state, and maybe the toughest guy in the country some days. Like you fight, and there he is. He's entertaining everybody. Margaret's there. Everything's going on, and then at the end, he's like, "All right," he gave out all these awards and all. It's just like funny awards, and strongest guy, he'd give him a 2-pound pink weight. Chris had it. But then all of a sudden, he's like, "All right, let's go outside. It's firework time."
Nice.
And I looked at him, I'm like, I said, "This is life here. This is good, man."
Yeah.
It's just he's running outside. He's lighting fireworks and running. I said, "This is the best jiu-jitsu guy maybe there is," and he's out there just. It's his family, you know, one love, and you just, like it said, just enjoy being around that company, that energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Zest for life.
It's super cool. You know what? I've been listening to a lot of Alan Watts lately, and one thing that he talks about is like Americans have this like strict distinction between work and play. And, you know, like people, like he brings up when he was a kid, he was like forced to play the piano. And they said he called it playing it, but in reality, he was made to do it. And, you know, at school, they had to run laps. And it wasn't a fun thing because everyone was doing it against their will. And we like, you know, look at work in this way that it's not a choice to me. It's something that I have to do rather than like something that I get to do, and being less playful throughout. And I think Issa does a really great job of like work is his play, and you know, he's just having fun, you know, all times a day. Yeah.
There's people you run into in life. Like I said, you remember your teacher from 5th grade, because like Issa's one of those, that's the guy, you just love the guy. You want to be. I'm training. I try to get there 6 days a week now, just because I don't want to miss a day with him, or miss something with him, or something he has going on. And he's always pulling you on the side, or always giving you something else you could do, you not do. But he's also just there sharing life stories from Iran when he was training, from when he got here. Even yesterday, he was telling me he did a tournament as a 2-stripe brown belt under Gustavo, who was a 6-stripe black belt, and the best Arizona's probably seen, and maybe the country again. Just you walk in a room and somebody's got 6 stripes on their black belt.
It's a long dedication to the sport.
That's it. And
very few people.
And same way, Gustavo did a clinic 2 weeks ago. Didn't have to. Came in. Regular people there. He was at his best, giving little pointers. Even when you're on his side, you come over and give. And then afterwards, he puts on his hoodie and goes outside. He's just a regular guy. And you shake his hand outside. You just
you'd never know.
You'd never know. You know? But Issa was saying, he was a 2-stripe brown belt competing, and the world, he took 3rd in the world. So the other 2 brown belts from Gustavo school were going to get moved up to black belt. So he was going to be like the number 1 brown belt in the country. And Gustavo moved him to black belt also. And he's like, you know, so just to hear different stories, and he shares on Instagram, maybe a chokehold from UFC 7 or this move here. It's just, he's just on there all the time, and every time I'm on there, I'm just always hitting him up and all. So and again, that's at my age. I'm excited. So the guys that are 20, 30, and 40, I mean, to train with Issa is, I mean,
it's really cool. He's one of the best in the state for sure. I mean, he's just an absolute beast. Just one of the toughest rolls. I mean, like I'll roll against a lot of other black belts in Arizona, and like, I mean, Issa's just so fucking tough. He's super strong, extremely technical. And like you said, just a really sweet guy too, just a real genuine person.
Yep. And you were saying that, even like Brent was saying, like you guys don't have there's no more easy matches. 3-stripe brown belt, you're fighting the best brown belts there are, and the best black belts. And like we said, ADCC, you fought in the tournament that Oliver Tazo was in, your weight class, and Elijah Dorsey. I mean, 2 of the best in the country, because one just won the Europeans. And Dorsey even beat Nick Ryan. That's the company you're in.
That is incredible. You know, Aaron Wilson, actually, I think his first match was against him. They went into overtime.
It's just elite company, and you're out there showcasing your skill, just
For sure.
what you have.
It's super fun that that's the case.
Yeah, and knowing that you can go on the mat and hold your own with anybody anywhere. You
Yeah.
know? I know you went to Chicago for the ADCCs.
Yep.
And got caught in a leg lock, tough match. Otherwise, yeah, like you don't know, just this, and you just left it open for a second.
Yeah.
And same thing. I was watching that because even the butter smooth. Oh, that's right. I'm representing today.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
My butter smooth all the
Hell
time.
yeah. Let's go. Thank
Definitely.
you.
Yeah. So even like when you do the butter smooth, the people that you get there and the people that you attract over there, it's just such a good event.
Yeah.
You don't, and even like the tournaments. I want to say, Mesa last year, I wasn't in the tournament, but Caleb and Jedi were in the tournament, and I got hurt October 1st. That tournament was October 15th. Seeing Caleb, he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to be fighting in this one." I tried to go sign up. My wife's like, "Look at me." She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Caleb's fighting in there." Like that's
Yeah.
how much passion I had. I want to be like my
Yeah.
teammate. And she's like, "You got a fractured elbow." I'm like, "That's all right." I said, "They won't get me." I said, she's like, "You can't do it." And I go to sign up, and it was the day before I missed. So I'm like,
Oh, okay. It was probably meant to be.
Yeah.
It is good not to go into competition with an injury.
But I wanted to be again, like I want to be by his
Yeah,
side.
with
I
your
wanna be
boys,
there.
yeah.
So I
Brothers
same
in
thing.
war.
Yeah. She's like, and Saturday comes. She's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Mesa." She's like, "You know, if I said no, I'm going to be sitting there. I'm going to
Yeah.
be right next to them." I said, "When they're fighting, I want to see these guys fight." And same thing. I think that gets inside of you to go watch and support.
For sure.
Your fellow brother who's putting it on the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
He could be home. He don't need to compete.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
good.
and win or lose, you get better. You know, like winning is always awesome. Just walking away with a highlight reel of shit to post on Instagram is an absolute blast. But losing too, it's like, you know, that Chicago match, I got Aoki locked, and since then I've probably hit that submission in training like 300 times. Like I'm just trying to it's been something that wasn't part of my game, and now I've completely added it to my game.
Yep. And I like what you do too. You take a 6-month period, a chunk, and just work on
Yeah,
whatever that is.
Certain
whether it's
things at a
guard
time.
pass, yeah, and
Yep.
just guillotine and just work on that.
yeah,
But yeah, that tournament was good because my man Caleb got beat 2-0. Same thing, tough thing. Guy was in guard, couldn't get out. Good match. Jedi wound up winning too. I think Chris Columbia won too. Big Ben was fighting in that tournament. But man, just good to go see those guys compete.
yeah.
You know,
It's awesome too how much the gym is growing, and like being able to go to competitions with a crew, and like all the boys are doing well, or just getting after it.
That's what I would hope. Like one of these next tournaments, we can get 40 or 50 guys.
That'd be sick. I
And
mean,
go
we've got
there.
enough of them.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
it's
probably
just-
about the amount of competitors we have.
There's just that much top talent.
Yeah.
Like if you can get everybody out there, Gabriel.
That's why I think
Brandon.
Issa is trying to do like these are the competitions
Justin,
that we're doing.
yeah.
So he gets we get a big crew that goes and shows up.
Yeah, Ben Anderson. I know he's just got to Germany. He's touring now, but he's another guy that's
Yeah.
Again, you could pick the guys that just look like they're gonna move.
Be
to-
very good. Yeah.
it's just
That's another
a tough
Ben's got a
game.
really like philosophical approach. He's a very like studious student of the game.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw, but he had like a fucking Bible worth of notes that he would take, whether it was like
Alex
during
was telling me, going through that stuff. yeah.
Apparently, it got stolen on one time when he was on tour. It was in a backpack, and the whole backpack got stolen. But I mean, it was a thick book of all just notes that he had taken during class, during seminars, during watching like film study and instructionals.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, super interesting. I don't think I've written a single jiu-jitsu note ever. And he, as a blue belt, I had this like Bible of notes.
Yep. Like you, it's impressive because he gets talked through every move without
Yeah.
doing the move.
Yeah.
Like you could explain it just like the other day doing something in class, and you could explain the whole thing. I think you were doing it with Gabriel, with an X guard to a De La Riva to an X guard.
Yeah.
And you could explain the whole thing where some of us are just like, look at that, like, man, it's just so impressive
Yeah.
behind the scenes. And that's how Ben is too. And same thing you roll with Ben. It's like most people, it's just never easy matches,
Yeah.
but he's so good at what he wants to do and how he's going to get there.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to get more advanced. I'd love
Yeah.
to take his classes because, he just went to like Gordon Ryan's Mount seminar when he did the day before ADCC. And just
him
like,
and Ryan,
and just, learning from like what he learned has helped my game a lot. I mean, he's just got a really good way of breaking it down. And then
Right.
he was very, like crazy with the notes. So, I mean, he really gleaned a lot from that.
Yep, yeah. You mentioned John Donaher before in B Team with Nicky Rod and Craig Jones. Just crazy talent right there in Austin. And even jiu-jitsu girl Helena Craven now
Yeah.
been training with her whole family moved to Austin, Texas to train
Yeah.
with John Donaher, who started back in New York with
Yeah.
Enzo
Enzo,
Gracie. And one of my buddies from back east used to train with him. So we used to play softball together. Chris Savarese. He has Savarese Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. one of the best on the East Coast there. He's 3-stripe black belt now, and he's every once in a while he's in Rafael Lovato's corner at some of the big
Oh, wow.
matches. Who's again another household name.
Yeah.
And all. And I remember we played softball together, and then like in '95 we went our separate way, and he went to fight with Renzo Gracie in the city, and I went to play golf, which
Oh, yeah.
nobody should do. It's just, you play golf. If you shoot 100, 10 minutes later you still shoot 100.
Yeah.
He went from here to black belt. I was still shooting 100.
Yeah.
It was just like, and same thing. He's got one of the best academies
Mm-hmm.
on the East Coast. But back then it was not even curriculum. Back then it was tough. You just had to be tough.
Yeah.
You just had to endure because there was no.
Well, the sport has grown so much since then.
Yep,
Yeah, it's like Jay talked about it in like even 10 years after that. He said late 2000s. It was crazy to see a purple belt.
Right.
You know, it's just extremely uncommon. And now,
Yeah.
you know, even since I started in like 2015, it's interesting the progression that since then, or 2016 I started, like even at the time when I started, leg locks were still fairly taboo. You know, they were making a big comeback and people were starting to do them now, but it was still fairly taboo. At the gym that I, you know, was training at originally, it's not something that they taught at all. And I trained for there about 6 months. And then I saw Issa opened up his own gym. My first taste of jiu-jitsu was a few years earlier, learning from him. And so I went and started training with Issa. And in like the first month, I'm like, how do you do a heel hook? And he's like, well, you do this and you do this. I'm like, oh, like, you know, he's teaching me like a secret move that I shouldn't be allowed to learn at this level. And it's crazy from that to now, like leg locks are just a huge part of the sport.
Yeah.
And
At
obviously
high
widely
level,
accepted. Yeah.
As you say, sometimes you watch some of the sport, and again, the Craig Jones levels and all those guys, Luke Griffith, Dante Leon, the team that Mo
Yeah.
Hassam just put together, Team Adolfo.
Yeah.
I mean, the who's who of jiu-jitsu.
Super
on there.
cool.
Like,
Yeah.
It's just Miko Galveo is just putting on a show lately. It's
Yeah. His judo's been incredible.
just world class to watch these guys.
Yeah.
Is just impressive. And I was telling you, I watched 2022 ADC final or semis with Craig Jones and Mergali. No
Yeah.
gi.
Yeah.
And it was like it was choreographed. That's how these guys
Yeah.
just flow.
Incredible match.
And just it's just a skill set. It's just something on these guys. you
Yeah,
know, and
super excited about ADCC this year too. Yeah, that'll be incredible. You know what? Unfortunately, so me and Issa had been signed up for trials for a little while now, and then I mean we signed up last year, I think, and it's not until the end of March. And then at some point, I think we got sent out a reminder for Brent's wedding, and it's that same weekend. Yeah, we're like, okay, Brent, can you push the wedding back a week?
rain date.
Yeah, yeah, they should have had the rain date. Yeah,
That's when it comes in handy.
Yeah.
And that's in Las Vegas, right?
that's in Vegas.
gonna
Yeah,
be-
the trials is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's incredible just the level of talent that's
And-
out there now.
Is there in those weight classes? I mean, is there like 200 people, 250, 150? Is it crazy
I
amount?
think they cap it at 156 per weight class. Yeah. So I typically compete at 77 kilos. Ain't no bite.
I know, and just to go there again, you put your name on that line, right? You got to have a great skill. You're not going there and to go to Vegas to get beat
No.
in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Again, you're putting on the line. There's 156 other people that are
Yeah.
world class jiu-jitsu that there's no easy match.
No, exactly,
Everything
yeah.
is a finals match.
Yeah.
which-
And it's you know, I mean, people treat it like it too. I mean, it's like it's basically like I mean, not even basically, it's a shot at an invitation to the Olympics of jiu-jitsu. So I mean, guys are getting after it, and it's not like, I mean, like you said, like Nikki Ryan, who's I want to say has competed at ADCC before, was doing trials. I mean, a bunch of guys that are just extremely high level.
Right.
Yeah, and it's incredible I mean, just the depth of talent, and you know, even getting second place doesn't get an invite there, even though you're probably, you know, top in the world at that.
Yeah, exactly. And UFC Fight Pass is doing more jiu-jitsu now, which is nice. I think
Yeah.
February 9th, there's some big matches coming up. Nicky Rod, I think, and I'm trying to think who he's fighting. He's fighting somebody that beat him like in 2019 in the finals when he was just I want to say a purple belt or a blue belt and going to purple belt. He took out 3 or 4 people in a row that household names.
Yeah.
But again, just a beast.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like the belts are meaning less and less right now too. It's all about your skill set, and you see people like Joseph Chen, who won the European trials, and he's been 4 years into the sport. which is just, and also too, his path to first place was just like probably the hardest path out of anyone there. I mean, a lot of people had like matches that were, or a path that was, you know, on paper should have been a lot easier. And Joseph just went through a gauntlet of extreme talent the whole way there and won only 4 years into the sport, which is incredible.
That is,
Yeah, it makes you think about like what's the best way to learn. If you know someone can be so recent into the sport and be at such a high level,
and get to that level.
Yeah.
It's funny to see like Dan Manisal wins double gold at every ADCC now, and you see him, he's 6'7", 300 pounds.
Yeah,
But the funny thing is when you see him compete,
yeah,
he pulls guard. Like,
yeah. He's a big guard player.
big guard player, like 6'7", 300. You would think the advantage is to grab the guy. He's there playing guard. Now,
Yeah.
how do you fight a guy 6'7", 300? When he's got his hands and legs. Like,
Yeah,
and Team Adolfo, he submitted everybody, and
yeah,
they're finding the best guy they can, just
Yes.
like Team Adolfo is.
yeah.
But yeah, just to see him pull guard, I'm like, can you imagine
It's interesting.
this guy just getting down there and he's just going to crush you from
Yeah,
there.
you know it's crazy too, because especially at the higher weights, we've talked about this in MMA and in jiu-jitsu. Typically, if you get like a really big, strong, athletic person who's like in the super heavyweight you know, weight class, you're not doing jiu-jitsu or MMA. You're going to go to football or basketball or something where the pay is just incredibly higher. So you usually don't see that like really talented big guy.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a grind for those guys, but they're just in sick shape too. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys are just jacked. Everybody you see out there that's at that high level, from Gordon Ryan on down, on there, Lombardi,
Yeah.
a bunch of those other guys. But it's just impressive
Yeah.
to see what these guys go through. Again, just like yourself and everybody else. Every brown belt, like I said, we look at it I look at it in the ISA school between Greg, who does a great job,
Yeah.
Mario, and everybody's, like I said, Mario's got a different style, and just all over the place.
Mario's style is spazzing.
Tough to get a hold of him. He's going to get you from one spot or the other. He's
Yeah.
going to move and get in and out, and you're
Yeah.
going to keep track of him, and he's going to tap you out. And then, like I said, Javier just got his brown belt at the last tournament he won.
Yeah.
Different style, stronger style, maybe just getting better position on
Yeah.
you. Said Brett's dynamite out there. Just watching him set up his game. We have Jeff in Austin.
Yeah.
And Jeff's another guy. Jeff knows his game so good. He could have a conversation over there and beat you. Like you get in there and he's just doing whatever. And if you grab him here, he lets you grab him there. You do this.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he chokes you out.
Yeah, he's really good, especially in the gi.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that he actually just we were talking about yesterday is that like he's done so much gi jiu-jitsu and like he's kind of neglected his no gi, and now he's like almost learning so much new stuff, just really trying to take a dive into no gi and trying to get better that way.
Yeah, I'm just impressed. Like I said, when I was just rolling him, because he's just on his side, and maybe he's looking over there and he's just grabbing you, and he knows what you're doing and he's grabbing you, and he's got you here, and the next thing you know. But he also gives good feedback, like a lot of the guys at gym.
Yeah.
Alex is another good guy to roll with, right? Bigger guy to fight. You don't
Yeah, don't want to end up underneath him.
but it never hurts you, never does this. And every time you can get a move, he gets it 3/4 of the way, lets you know he's got it, releases it, and tells you what you need to do, and you go back and forth. So he's a great guy to roll with.
Nice.
Eric, I roll with a lot on Saturday at the gym.
Yeah.
Just got his purple belt, same way. You could work and move around, which is
Yeah.
good.
Well, you're very athletic. I'm excited for your future of jiu-jitsu. Did you ever play any other sports before jiu-jitsu?
I played football in high school, but mostly softball. Like, as after everybody gets there, when you get your mid-20s and all, it seems like it's softball leagues all over the
Yeah.
place. I just played with Billy.
Yeah, they're
and
like
all.
beer leagues.
Yeah, beer
Yeah.
leagues, and did that. It's just they did that too long, and then golf too long.
Yeah.
And I just keep saying, I said, my buddy Chris Savary, it's like, man, I could have been. You always say that, right? I could have been a lawyer. This guy's a 3-stripe, 4-stripe black belt. That
Yeah.
was an academy that, again, in the biggest part, just like he said, what do you help the adults? You help maybe the college. You help kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 6 to 10-year-olds, 10 to 13, and same thing with Gracie University, what Adam did over there. Just so many kids that you give a chance that didn't have this growing up.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially when those kids start at like, 4 or 5 years old. By the time they're 20, they have 15 years of experience and they're barely getting their man muscles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible seeing some of these kids.
And just because it's somebody else now guiding them, like they have their parents
Yeah.
at home, but Issa's giving them something. This one's giving them
Yeah.
something. Mario teaches the class on Friday, and just those little things. And these kids are learning discipline. Even
Yes.
they might get that at home, they might not. But they're learning discipline.
Yeah.
They're learning to be kind, but
Yeah.
also to not be kind when you don't need to be kind.
For sure. Yeah. And one of the biggest differences between like jujitsu and maybe like soccer or some of the other sports you can get your young kid into is that like when the team loses, well, first off, on a lot of those like soccer leagues and stuff, they don't even keep score.
Right.
So, you'll just play and then, that's just like, okay, you guys both won. Or even if they do keep score, the team loses, and then it's like, well, the team lost. It wasn't necessarily me. When it's an individual sport, it's all on you.
Yeah.
And so these kids get super emotional, especially coming into competitions. You see a lot of tears flowing and whatnot, but it's good for them to learn that like it's just for one to handle adversity and to just be okay with understanding that like in life you lose sometimes, and the only thing you can do is just go back to the drawing board and try harder and try to become a better person, better competitor. It's the only solution.
Yeah, exactly. That's life lessons, right? You get the job, you get fired, you get the girlfriend, she dumps you. You just better yourself. What I do wrong here? What can I do better?
Yeah.
And same thing.
Yeah.
And this weekend too, there was a lot of kid matches. And it was funny because it was guys and girls. Where it was mixed because there was only X amount, and it was set up that way.
Yeah.
And
at a certain age level, they do guys against girls.
and
And they're about the same strength at that age.
I want to say most of the matches, the girls were beating the guys.
Yeah.
Because it's really not much strength at that age.
Yeah.
Right? You're not working out.
They're about the same
Yeah.
strength. Yeah.
And a lot of the girls just were taking it to the guys, and some of the younger kids were getting beaten, crying because they lost to the girl. And that's a tough.
Got to be tough on the
that's a
ego
tough
for
one to
sure.
take.
That's even tougher.
Going to school the next day or whatever. But
Yeah.
these girls put it on the line. Just like at our school.
Yeah.
Like Kate's in there all the time, Alejandro's all the time. They compete.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's interesting. I don't teach kids anymore, but I was teaching kids with Issa for maybe 6 months or a year or so. And one thing that I noticed for sure is that at a certain age level, like probably anything before 10, the girls do so much better than the guys because the guys are just like, little wild men that aren't like listening or just like trying to fuck with each other like during instruction. The girls are listening, and they just realize that like if I just do the technique that they're showing me, it doesn't matter if this is a guy or anything. I just do the technique and I'm going to win.
Yep.
And so they're much more absorbent of the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was impressive to see them out there and all. That's just a different sport and just better in their lives.
Yeah.
And like you said, just getting back. And that's too, like I said, competing wise, you're at a different level. But the first tournament we did, that's what I said. I didn't realize how soft I was because I thought we're just fighting. Like it's just okay. And now, like I said, this year my goal was not to lose. Like it's everybody's goal, right? You don't want to lose. You're a football team. You want to win. So same thing. I'm 6-3 last year. I'm 1-1 this year. But my goal was not to lose, and I got beat. So now I got to just, even though I'm at again my journey, I don't want to lose.
That's
again.
completely okay though. Did you record your matches?
No, Billy did the first couple. My wife was there. She was by herself on this one. So
Yeah. It's important to record the matches. That way you can watch it after.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just see where you went wrong, and then you've got, clear info to go back to the lab and work on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said that Mario's been helping me. So I know what I have to do and all, but it's just funny because again, you control it. Because when you go out there, you're grabbing that guy 110%. You're grabbing him. You're choking him. You're doing whatever you can. If you think you could overpower him, you might try to pull him down by pulling the guard, sweep him. So it's just interesting because every match is different. Like I said, the first match I had a guy who was 5'10". Next match the guy was 6'5", both 195, and just different body types. And you could feel. When you get out there and you lock a collars or you grab sleeves, you can feel somebody's strength right away.
Yeah.
When you pull them in and all, and now, all right, I might work this, I might work that.
Yeah.
And that 5 minutes is like a blur sometimes.
Yeah.
Everything's so loud.
Yeah, right.
And you're on your back, you're spinning, and you can't think fast enough at a lower level.
Yeah.
Whereas you're just reacting at a higher level.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've experienced it as well. I feel like sometimes I'll go out there and then the match will end and I'll come back and it's like, was that like a dream? Like, I don't know. You almost like leave your body for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool. Definitely,
It's really interesting.
Everybody that trains should get out there.
For sure. Yeah, it's a real interesting experience because it's not something you can replicate anywhere else. Right. You almost have to go and sign up and make weight and get in front of everyone and the adrenaline dump, the just rush of feelings that you have. It's hard to replace.
Yep. And like I said, if you're not good in basketball, you can go shoot hoops. You're not good in golf, you can go to range. you need your partner in jiu-jitsu. So that's why sometimes we get there, like, you don't got to worry about getting better. Your partner's going to get you better.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's so good, again.
It's real self-motivating in
yeah.
that way too, because like rather than like you mentioned, going to LA Fitness or anytime you're just trying to work on weights or whether you're like running or anything, it's you almost got to force yourself to get going after it. But in jiu-jitsu, all you got to do is show up, and you got someone trying to attack you.
That's the key. Just right, show up, put the time in.
Yeah.
With anything, same with life, with whatever you're doing on your job or your career and all. But that's what I said. You could see, like, if you stayed jiu-jitsu for X amount of years, you're going to be here. Whereas, like I said, I golfed or you did something else. There's no, you had a good time and all, but there's no value added to be able to.
It's real fulfilling, like being able to like see your progress.
Yeah, and to control any outcome. If you're ever, and it's not maybe to protect yourself, it's maybe to protect your wife, your daughter, your kids, your neighbor, somebody else. Just that you could always handle. That's what said Joe Rogan. I could always dictate how everything's going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you walk in a room, you kind of give that off too. Like, it builds confidence. That's why I would say a lot of the younger guys, when they stick with it, you walk in a room different. Maybe you got more confidence.
Exactly.
In a conversation. And all, so.
That's what like most fights usually happen from is like both guys being insecure. Maybe one person will say something that pisses the other person off, and they get emotional, and then the like emotions rise on both sides, and people are unsure what the other person is going to do, and so all of a sudden they're just wild and swinging. But often, like, if one party just has like a good show of confidence, then that can also conversely de-escalate the situation. It's like if someone's getting real mad at me, I'm like, all right, buddy, if you want to, like, well, we'll go for it. And that often is like, okay, well, maybe we won't do that. Maybe that wouldn't go well for me.
Matt Serra had a couple of good interviews when he was on too. It'd be somebody starting to fight with him, and he's like, come on, you don't want to do this. He's like, go 2 blocks over, find somebody else. This ain't going to work out good for you. The guy's like, no, I got a problem. Listen, go 2 blocks over, go push somebody. Like, this ain't going to go good.
I like Matt Serra a lot. Yeah. So did you box or anything before jiu-jitsu, or just been a fan of like MMA before?
Just a fan of MMA. Yeah. It's just always, again, when my wife got in, I just always watched it, and just we'd have parties by my buddy, I said Chris Savarese, and just everybody was just like so unbelievable that this guy, Hoist Gracie could beat this guy, and this guy could beat them. And just watching them back then. It was just incredible. And even like Ken Shamrock when he started, and Frank Shamrock, but even Pride, just watching Pride, just different fighting style with Sakuraba and Vanderlei Silva. And he said you can see different people, what they're built of. Like Vanderlei Silva never took a step back. Like he never did. And you see somebody like Brock Lesnar is the tough. This guy, all he did in MMA was take step backs or run. Like you can see, he didn't have, I don't want to say he didn't have the heart like the other guys, but he didn't have a Vanderlei Silva heart. He didn't have a Chuck Liddell heart who'd stand there and swing.
He just bang in the pocket.
And the biggest, strongest guy is, but just not built 100% like a killer like you would think. And all. So that's why I used to always enjoy all the Pride fights and all. And then when Pride and UFC were trying to like mix it up, and have different people go there from the UFC. Rampage Jackson would go there. A couple of other guys would go there. Like Evan Tanner, I used to watch when we were growing up. And a lot of guys from, like I said, the Militich camp, when Matt Hughes was the champ and he beat Carlos Newton. Then it started just evolving from there.
Well, that's really cool. You've been a fan of the sport for a long time. I'm surprised you didn't get into anything earlier.
I know, and that's what I said. I always looked at it and I said, man, these guys are just too good. Or how are you going to do that? And I think growing up too, when we were, like I said, 82 to 90, it was Taekwondo, which was Joe Rogan. And that's all we did was Taekwondo. That was the only thing around. So you did Taekwondo full gear and you went to tournaments. You could even see highlights with Joe. So we did tournaments like that, but it wasn't the same. It's the physicality.
The whole sport was less popular at the time. And even like in the early days of UFC, it was very like negatively looked upon. Like it was only on like Spike TV or like the intense, like one channel on all of TV. They wouldn't show it in restaurants. It was like they called it like human cockfighting, and it just wasn't looked at as like the art that it is.
And now it's at the highest level. Even Boss Rutan, growing up watching him.
Boss is another real cool guy.
It's just at a different level. And he always tells the quick story about it when he was in Miami and one of the linebackers from the Dolphins bumped into him.
It was fucking Brian Urlacher.
Brian Urlacher.
Yeah.
And said, like, again, perception. You look at Boss Rutan and you look at Brian Urlacher. And you're like, and he's like, after a while, he said, apologize twice. And the guy says, you want to take it outside? And he's like, yeah, sure. Like, you're in a lot of trouble and you don't know it. And I remember doing Pedro at Gracie University, Pedro Sauer came in
Yeah.
for one of the classes that was there. We actually had Wim Hof came in for one of the classes.
really?
That's when
Wow.
I started doing some breathing exercises and all. So Pedro Sauer came in, and I was one of the guys there early in the class. Adam, like I said, Adam Edison that runs Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was there. And I always, again, perception. I'm like, now 2 other guys came in. One of them was Pedro Sauer, 8th degree, one of the original guys that worked with the Gracies from the beginning. And he sat down, had a paper, had his glasses on. He looked like a 55-year-old guy just reading the paper.
Yeah.
No, some other people, 2 other people came in. And as everybody walks in and gets changed, I'm like, looking at this guy, comes out, I'm like, 3rd degree, 2nd degree.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't tell me this guy's a black belt. I'm like, and you just don't know. Like,
Yeah.
It's like perception when you see somebody walking
You
down
have
the
no
street.
clue.
And there was like 37, 38 black belts that came out.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, they all came here to train with Pedro Sauer.
Yeah.
And then he goes and trains, and he's choking these guys out. Like, he's tapping these guys out at 150 pounds.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, you're just so impressed
Yeah.
with that. But yeah, that's what I said. From then on, like even watching jiu-jitsu, you see the guys at cauliflower ears, or you see you got this silicone ring.
Yeah.
Just go sit somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, don't bother them sometimes. But
Yeah.
it's,
Right.
yeah, it was just impressive to see.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know. Like Gustavo has no cauliflower ear at all. He's been in the sport for a long time. I think it's actually more from wrestling that you
Right,
get
yeah.
it from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was from like ear to the hip.
Yep.
Is like what really swelled it up.
And Greg trained with Gustavo. Isa obviously started with Gustavo. So you hear Gustavo. It sounds like a big tough guy
Yeah.
name anyway. And you see him come in, and he's, I want to say the gentle sport, but
Yeah.
a gentleman, a professional.
Yeah. He's very thin. It's not like he's
Yeah.
like a a
And
monster to look at.
Isa said, I mean, he's probably the best in the world at
Spider guard.
spider guard.
Yeah.
and
Really good
sleeve
with
grip.
it. Yeah.
And, I mean, again, six stripes on his black belt. It's a
Yeah.
long journey.
Yeah.
And again, nicest guy you're gonna run into. never gonna bother anybody.
Yeah.
Never no need to.
For sure. Yeah.
Like just.
You know, you're also an extremely nice guy, like, just an absolute sweetheart every time I see you, which is why it's interesting. Billy told me this story. I think you were on your way to work one day and got into a little bit of a road rage, and it escalated from there with someone.
Before jiu-jitsu, see now I'm calling. Yeah.
Yeah, this is before jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, that was an odd one. And actually, I was boxing at this one place. Now, you see, I was boxing at this one place for a while. I just came from the boxing place, too.
Okay.
And me and my wife were driving, and the guy was on my ass coming off the thing. So I'm pumping the brakes a couple times trying to get on the highway. And then
Yeah.
he gets by me, goes 3 lanes over.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, whatever. And all of a sudden, now he gets in front of me, and he's taking the same exit as me. So now, as an idiot, I said, oh, I'll get right on his ass.
Yeah.
And I do that. He stops short. I have to hit the wheel, and my car spins like this, and I go off the side of the road. Yeah.
Wow.
So now I'm pumped up again. I don't know if you're in that car, Issa's in that car,
Yeah.
or some computer guy. So going after him, I says, man, if this guy catches the light, I'm going after him. He catches the light. The funny thing is, I come up behind. I'm worried about his car wasn't even in park. He got out. Same thing.
Wow.
Big linebacker guy from ASU comes out.
Wow.
And again, it's go time, right? We're not. I'm out, and he's like, you got to promise. I said, yeah, I got my fucking wife in this car, bro. And next thing you know, he's throwing a punch, and I just came from the boxing class. Turn, hit him in the side. But this dude was so big. It was just on the right time. He hit him again. Took me, hit me in the car. We're on the side of the off ramp, and there's all the big boulders all around. So we're fighting in this thing too. My shoe goes off. This comes off. 2 cars in front stop. My wife screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
And now at the end, this guy's, and maybe from watching jiu-jitsu, I wound up almost locking this guy up, like with an arm bar. But as he's doing that, he's reaching with his other arm to get one of the blocks to hit me in the head.
Oh, God.
And somebody stopped him, and he's like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And this guy was so like happy that I fought him. Yeah. He's like, "Way to step it up, motherfucker!" And he's hugging me. He keeps hugging me, and he was just again a college linebacker. I picked the wrong guy, and thank God I got out of there.
Yeah,
alive,
you're
but
both okay.
And this guy was just high-fiving me. He's like, "Way to step it up, motherfucker!" And I'm looking at him, and I just turned 50 too. I says, "Hey, tell you that was a good time." I said, "I just turned 50," and the guy looked at me like, wait a step. And I'm like, man, that was just a tough one. And that was
Damn.
one too. I got out of there, and you just know you got out with your life. The
Yeah.
guy would have hit me first or caught me different, but it was one of those things. It's
Wow.
it's go time. Mano a mano.
How funny, yeah.
You beat me or I beat you.
Yeah, you gotta just fucking throw it out, and then you're friends after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I'm like, man, you just don't know. I said, if you four guys, Coulter and all, you guys were in a car and somebody pulled, like, you just got four of the toughest guys in Phoenix
Yeah.
here. Now, what are you gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
that's what I said at the end of the day. Now, it's just everything's peaceful. You try to get through, and
Yeah, you never know who it is.
And yeah, always. I even have that be kind shirt. You never know the battle anybody's going through.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I know even like. So I know you lost Maggie last year. Like when I lost my dog, it was on a Saturday, and I went to work, and everybody's, you see everybody Monday, hey, how was the weekend? You and Carrie go out to eat? I'm like,
Yeah.
I was quiet. Like, you don't even want to talk about
Yeah.
it because they don't know. And that's like when that happened too, I started saying, man, I should look at everybody like they just lost their dog.
Yeah.
And not ever
Yeah.
be.
You never know what they're going
Yeah,
through.
be
Yeah.
offline with somebody. So that's kind of what I thought of. But that was that day. I was like, oh man, like one of the worst days you could have.
Yeah. It's
You're
horrible
like,
losing a
yeah.
family member like
And you're
that.
like, and I said, man, everybody is going through that.
You
every
just never
day
know.
somewhere. Yeah.
It is super important not to react emotionally like
Yeah.
that. And I know my my office manager, Chris, she just was dealing with breast cancer recently, and like on the day that she got the call that she's got breast cancer, she's going home, and like this guy's like, man, honking the shit out of her, and she's like a very road rage type of person, but it was at that time she's like, I'm not going to get mad at him. And now I got to take a step back and realize that, like, I just received one of the maybe worst phone calls of my life. And this guy's just pissed off because, I don't know, I'm, in the wrong lane or something. And
Right.
so just
Yeah.
taking a different approach to looking at people.
Yeah, it is. It's tough too, and you got to do that. You got to step back. But I think too.
It's one of the hardest things with dogs, especially because it's like you're going to outlive them for
Right,
sure,
yeah.
almost for sure. And, but it's like the love that they have is like irreplaceable.
It is. It's,
You know?
it's tough. And I've been home since COVID. I've been home 4 years. So same thing. My dog gets walked at 4, 6, 8, 11, 4, and 7. Like he gets 6 walks a day.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of walks.
Yeah, he gets me away from the computer for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I got break at 8 and lunch at 11. End of
Yeah,
day is 4.
he's your buddy.
He's my buddy.
So do you work from home and you just walk him all the time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Nice.
Yeah. And I thought I was doing good, like when I was working at Intel, but I would only see him in the morning and night. And then then I was home, like, man, I missed out on this guy, like every day with this guy. And
Yeah.
again, he's man's best friend. He's my dog. My family. It's me, my wife, and
Yeah.
Aaron. And like I said, even when I get home, sometimes after open mat on Saturdays, 12:30, I put him in the car and we go to Desert Ridge and we walk around Desert
Nice.
Ridge, and he's just pumped up. But
Getting
again,
some new smells,
yeah.
different environment.
you have different conversations with your dog. Too,
Yeah.
as you're walking around, you talk to yourself or do whatever. But they keep you young. They keep you laughing. It's just, I think that's a big part of being healthy too.
That's awesome.
Besides dieting and all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's the mental aspect of it for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, being able to just go out and like just be alone with your thoughts. It's almost sounds like it's like a meditative process for you.
Yeah. I like that. I said ever since losing whatever, it's just changes. I don't know the way you look at things too. But yeah, and it's hard with people sometimes because there's a lot of knuckleheads out there. And
Yeah.
you hate to say there's people that aren't as smart either that don't
For
even
sure.
know. You hear some of these interviews and we're all born a little different.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of dummies out there though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just hard to sometimes have patience when somebody's not making sense. But you just
Yeah.
kind of go the other way and,
Yeah.
and try to stay away from the big That's just the same thing. Me and my wife, we don't go to the big gatherings or anything like that. Anytime could be issues, try to go the other way. But just always be the better person. And I guess as you get older too, it's easier. Like there's nothing for you to get. Shouldn't be nothing for you to get angry at.
Yeah. Nothing to
I get
prove.
yeah. And especially you guys that train jiu-jitsu. Like I said, there's nothing nobody's going to do to you guys or whatever. So
That's another thing too. If like you never train or do anything, you're almost like curious about about the test of yourself. And if you're not, already testing yourself 6 days a week, that's almost like an incentive to like, get pissed off at someone. I remember when we were real young, me and my buddy would go out to the bar and like we'd be a certain level of drunk and we'd be like, all right, we're either getting laid or getting in a fight tonight. Like that was the goal, like one of the two. I'd look back at that, like what a fucking psycho. Like who says that?
And just think too, like after your, I think last Butter Smooth, you guys went to the bar, right? Taylor was at the bar. You go to the
Yes.
bathroom. some jerk off takes your wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
This guy, yeah, the guy was fucking
That's-
blackout drunk.
yeah.
Oh my god, that was nuts. So yeah, we show up to the bar and there's only one seat, and so Taylor sits down. She orders a drink, so I give her my wallet, and I go to the bathroom. I'm gone for less than a minute. I come back, and she was on one seat. So there's some people to her right, some people to her left. And the people to the left are these like old country guys, like two farmers. And we came to watch the fights because we left a different bar because they weren't showing them. So we come up, the fights are happening. They start asking her like, what's going on right now? And she's, all real into it, starts telling them and stuff. And we come back. As soon as I come back, the bartender comes up and it's like, all right, what would you like? And I'm like, okay, can I have a card to hold the tab? And I'm like, babe, where's the wallet? And she's like, Joey, it was just here. Like, I was just here. It was just here. I don't know. I don't have it. You don't have it? I'm like, I don't have it right now. And so I'm looking, and it's either the guys to her left or the guys to her right. That's the only two fucking options, right? It's been less than a minute. It was there a second ago, and now it's not here. The people to her left, I'm like unsure, but they're talking to us. They're like, they know what's going on. They were just talking to her, so they're like, hey, we don't have it. This guy to her right, just blackout drunk, clearly just fucked up. And I'm looking at him, and he just requested his tab too. So he's like, look, he's paying it now. And I look at him, I'm like, hey buddy, we just lost a wallet. Can we? Did you see it or anything? Ignores me. I'm looking at him, and he's got his wallet out, and he's paying his thing. And then I look at his pocket, and he's got a fucking a wallet shape in his pocket. Yeah, and I asked him like, buddy, would you mind just emptying your pockets real fast? Like we just lost a wallet. He's like, I don't have to fucking empty my pockets. Looked at me like that, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so by this time, we're getting a little loud, and we just got a wallet stolen, so we're making a little bit of a scene. Sure. She had called over the bartender had called over the manager, and I just fucking grab in his pocket and I pull it out and it's my fucking wallet. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And right at the time the manager was coming up, I slapped the dude's hat off, and the manager just saw what happened, grabbed him by his throat and fucking walked him out of the place. But guy was just pissed drunk. Apparently the manager said he just started crying and and whatnot afterwards. But
those are the guys that need the beating.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I know.
Sure. Sometimes it's just like,
yeah, I knocked his hat off. I should have just fucking straight righted it.
Yeah.
I mean, just blackout drunk, and what a piece of shit too, to steal a wallet from a girl that just sat down next to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you imagine, I said, just doing, and there's how many times does that happen everywhere? Just people in general are brutal.
I mean, we had a great night. We're coming out to celebrate. If like we wouldn't have been, really on top of what was happening there, he might have just walked away with it that night.
Yeah. I remember too, just when you said the bar about picking up women or getting drunk, like Ryan that was in here, just got his purple belt, and he was saying, back then you didn't have Instagram, you didn't have Facebook, you had to go meet girls, and I just remember the two going in the club. The tough part was, I said you didn't have a phone to give them. You had to go almost back to the same place, but you had to actually go up to the group of girls if you like the one. Talk to her. And meanwhile, you're talking to her friends are like around you, either looking at your shoes or like. And like now it's just so different. You just do everything. And that's what you're saying. You had to have, screw on your balls, get over there and have some kind of game to get her to come talk to you and leave her friends. And
for sure.
Never easy.
Yeah. Although I think there's benefits and downsides to both. I think like if you did in that time when there were no phones, because I like look at it almost like I romanticize that time like you go up, you talk to a girl, there's no getting a phone number or anything. You got to like create a date to like re-meet right then. It's like, oh, we're gonna meet on this date, and then a week goes by, you don't get to text each other or look up their Instagram and creep on them.
You gotta close the deal.
You gotta close the deal right then, and then if you go, you show up 6:00 Friday, is she gonna come? And then it happens. Like imagine like the difference of like how emotionally like that would feel versus like fucking meeting someone on Tinder and meeting up like that.
Everything about that person in Instagram or Facebook in 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. All her friends know because she's looked at this and looked at. Yeah, it's completely different.
Same thing like jiu-jitsu. When you get I remember you said like you get your tournament, you're gonna see who you fight, and you go look at that guy. And I remember you said that, and you don't do that. You just show up. And I did that the first tournament. Now I don't care if there's one guy or six guys. I'm going to beat that guy. So good luck, whatever he does, and all. And I even remember me and my wife were sitting at the bar, and I guess there was somebody pretty famous next to us we didn't know, and the lady introduced her friend to him and said his name, and there's me and my wife. Movie produced.
Oh wow,
Like, it used to be the good old days when the comedians like. wasn't it nice when you were like, hey, at a Bruce Springsteen concert or something, you didn't know who the drummer was or where he lived.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know until 4 weeks later you ran into somebody who says, I think he lives here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, now it's just like instant, which is good now because that's what I said. The benefit is now you have all your health in front of you. You know what to eat, what to drink, what to do, what somebody else is doing. Like it's the best time to be alive.
Yeah.
To listen to any podcast you want.
Yeah.
And get any feedback you
Yeah,
want.
instant information. You've got like the entire conglomeration of human, achievements or humans like contributions in our entire history just in your pocket.
Yeah.
And so you can learn infinitely, you can do a million things, but I think it's like just the natural progression of it is like the more good something gets, though, also like it's got an equal opposite bad that comes with it too.
Other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the truth. Yeah. Anything that's good comes out of it. Like I said, then there's the hackers. Then there's this. And it's going to be interesting.
It's like the yin and yang of life.
Yeah. See what's happening with AI going forward, what that's going to.
Yeah. That's really interesting as well. I'm curious the direction that goes.
Yeah.
There's some people who are very worried about it, and there's other people who are less worried. But either way, it's really. Have you played around on ChatGPT at all?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Try it out. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's real interesting. I mean, you ask it anything, and it just gives you like an instant breakdown. And you can even say like, that was great, but do it in 3 sentences and instead of 2 paragraphs, and it'll give you a more concise version. And then the main difference between like a Google search and a ChatGPT is that if you're asking like, hey, what's the best way to stay healthy? Google will give you 20 different options or something. ChatGPT will say like, well, there's a bunch of different ways to stay healthy. Here are some general things. You could be like, okay, well, I'm, 59 years old. I'm, this is what I do normally. What's best for me? Okay, well, that's great. Well, I don't really like, I'm more into meat rather than plant-based, what's based. And you can have a conversation back and forth with it, and it'll narrow down exactly, what's best for you or, do it that way. So it's real interesting.
That is good. And COVID was like the worst thing that could happen, right? Because people lost their lives. But the plus side, if there is one, is everything's cleaner, everything's nicer, everything's right. And all the meal companies that opened up now too. Like I said, now you can get everything delivered. So, like that's part of my diet now. We do just meats, and I'll get my chicken, my pork, and my steak from them, and I'll prep all the vegetables.
Do you do like Butcher Box or something?
It's called Just Meats. It's like the Butcher Box competition. And then Eat Clean Phoenix is another place.
They like mail it to you every week?
Yeah, every 2 weeks you can get we get like 12 pounds every 2 weeks. And same way, I'll keep 3 out and I do all my vegetables. And then Eat Clean Phoenix is where I might get my shrimp, my seafood, or my turkey dishes. And that's how we do our meals during the week. So for a couple dollars extra, I don't have to prep. Where 10 years ago, me and my wife were doing some competitions and stuff, and we would meal prep every Sunday.
Yeah.
From soup to nuts, everything for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
But now with these little companies, it makes it so much easier to do everything. I think was it Kyle that was on that has?
Yeah, Kyle Hannon. He's got the Recharge Center.
Yeah.
So, that's been really great for me.
Yeah. So
everything's organic
like
too, like really well made.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, everything organic, everything grass-fed. Now you can just get so much easy things, and it's not much more than, again, you buy blueberries for $6 or organic for $8. Like nothing is that crazy that you should go the extra. And that's kind of what I said, going back to Gary Breck. And then even if you get your fruit now, he's got me washing it with rice wine vinegar and baking powder and baking soda, baking powder. One of them. Got to check. But now I clean my fruit. I try to get all organic. I try to get the same thing that Just Meats, the Eat Clean, and try to do that as far as diet-wise, besides everything else. But there's so much out there besides information, just companies like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can just set yourself up. And, again, it saves the prep time. So it's the most important thing in your day is time. Yeah,
so absolutely. Yeah, just this and not having to clean up and all the dishes and everything that goes with the time of taking it to cook. So you said you did a competition. I think I saw that on your Instagram. That was like a fitness competition.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. So as you get to 30 or 40 or 50, you just want to always do something. So as I was getting closer to 50, I said, I just want to I'm in the gym, but LA Fitness, just going through the motions maybe. I said, I'd like to get back. And as you were working out all the time, you always wanted to get 345s on each side with the bars, 315. I want to see if I can get back at 50 years old, bench press 315. So kind of pushing the envelope there, putting on a little weight, doing this, doing that. And I would just do some heavy stuff, some odd exercises, had a trainer. And I got a torn pectoral muscle.
God.
So doing a heavier weight and doing this one exercise, just squeezing like this, and I heard a pop. And I'm like, man, what the hell is that? I go in the bathroom. I don't see nothing. I said, maybe you always hear football injury, shoulder pop back
Yeah,
in.
shoulders.
And I get up the next day, take my shirt off, and I was black
Purple.
and blue.
Yeah.
Everything here. I went, called an orthopedic, went in, and he looked at me right away. He's like, it was a Tuesday too. And I was working with Billy at Intel, a couple other guys. He's like, you got surgery Thursday. I said, I got a wife, I got my job. I said, I can't do this. He's like, you'll never move that again. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, you got to get it. And that's like an NFL guy would take 4 to 5 months. It took me 11 months to rehab that.
Wow. Yeah.
And I just remember always going in the therapy. They give me a 1 pound weight, and I'm like, really? She's like,
Yeah.
that's a new muscle. That's a new
You're
muscle.
trying to
She's like, you got nothing there.
wow, you're trying to put up 315 and now you're working with
Yeah.
1 pound weights.
And the therapy guy that I talked to, he's like, you got to, once we get a couple months in, you got to push that. You got to go around, try to lift up cars, do whatever. He's like, that's going to be the strongest muscles. So I said, let me start training somewhere. And I found Jeremy Scott Fitness. If you ever reach out to Jeremy Scott, you ever find this guy in Scottsdale, he's a great interviewer, great podcast guy. He's was a spokesman for Adidas. He was kind of David Goggins before David Goggins became on an Instagram and a
interesting.
beast. Jeremy would do the 1 mile of lunges.
Wow.
You can't go from here. Like,
Jesus
anything
Christ,
you
yeah.
give him, and he looked the same today as he did 10 and 12 years ago. So I started training with him 10 years ago. Just one of these guys, the best athlete you ever seen, the best, most dedicated. He was doing intermittent fasting 10, 12 years ago. The Greens, I'm trying to think of the green company, Athletic Greens. He was doing Athletic Greens 10, 12 years ago. He was doing all this stuff before it got mainstream. And same thing, just got me into, did a 47-day challenge with him. Came in maybe second, took a couple prizes home. He got me a bunch of Adidas stuff.
Awesome.
And I seen his pictures on the wall. I said, hey, did you compete? He goes, yeah, I've done some physique challenges. I said, on stage and all? He goes, yeah, NPC. I says, you get me through one of them?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And it was February. He's like, there's one in November. He said we could train for 9 months. And I
Nice.
think I was 222 at the time. And
Wow.
I was like, all right. And he's the one that showed me, like, diet-wise, how you had to break everything down. Like, I wanted to be, say, 200, and he would use a factor of 10. So 200 times 10, we'd have 2,000 calories. This way, it's going to be a little bit of calorie deficit based on my workout. So, all right, one gram of protein for each pound of body weight. So, all right, 200 grams of protein. The gram of protein is 4 calories. There's your 800 calories. Because we want half a gram of fat. A calorie of fat is 9. Gram of fat is 9 calories. There's 1,700. You got 300 left over.
Yeah.
Carb is 4 calories, 75 carbs, and you go to MyFitnessPal, and he says, "Well, put your numbers in, and we'll just get you a diet, and based on macros like that, and set that up. Would follow that." And
What kind of proteins do you do to get to that? Because I've heard that 1 gram of protein for every pound of body fat a lot before, but it's like to get 200 pounds without going way over on calories, or 200 grams without going way over on calories. What kind of proteins are you doing?
Yeah, just lean chicken, lean steak. It's more of that, but more meals, like 5 small meals and even the chicken and stuff. You're only getting 30 grams, 25 grams per serving, so you need quite a few of them. We'd sprinkle in a protein shake, even though like his thing wasn't the shakes really, it was whole food or real food.
Nice,
You know, and he was big on that. Like eat like your life depends on it. Oh wait, it does.
Yeah.
And he'd do that. And same thing with desserts and all. He wouldn't want to have desserts, but he said if you're out somewhere, if you're gonna have a dessert, don't have a glazed donut or an Oreo. He says, make it epic. If they have red velvet bread pudding, that's what you get. He says, if it's Thanksgiving, he says, you eat he would do that. He might eat a box of donuts at once. But he said it had to be epic. I'm not just going to have a cookie to have a cookie.
Yeah, I got you. Not just a little snack at the end of the night. It's, on a special occasion, and you're really going to go after it. I like it. I like that.
So that was
That's pretty
his
cool.
big thing. And
that's almost like The Rock will have these like crazy cheat meals where if you'll see like he'll have like a dozen cookies or like fucking
Carb load
20 like 20 pancakes with his whiskey syrup.
Yeah. If you look up his picture, like I said, he's the same ripped guy, and not bulky ripped, athletic ripped. Like he's just one of those guys you meet that's just, and same thing, just always about people. He was, and he was always like to you, don't watch the Kardashians, you become the Kardashians. Don't watch garbage, you listen to the positive stuff and try to do that. But I did the competition with him to November, and I wound up at 182. So 40 pounds, and same thing, got on stage, and I did a smaller one in Tucson, like a smaller jiu-jitsu. So I did a smaller NPC contest in Tucson. I wound up winning that one.
Wow.
And he's like, now
good for you.
Yeah, now we'll go to Phoenix, and we'll do one in Phoenix. You're going to have a lot more competition. So besides the diet part, you had to have your posing and you had to have stage
Yeah.
presence. So I did the one in Phoenix, and I think I came in 5th out of maybe 12 people. So I went back to the drawing board, and actually then I wound up training with my wife was training too. I was now 54 at this time because I did one with him at 51, 52. I took off at 53 and 54. My wife was turning 50, so we went to do one together. I trained with IBF Pro Karen Malarkey. So we started training with her at her gym and all did her workouts, and we both went on stage together in Phoenix, and I wound up winning that one.
Wow,
so
nice.
4 years later at 54, but never thought
good
I'd
for
be
you.
on stage doing a physique contest.
Yeah.
And doing
Nice.
that, but it was
what a
cool.
beast.
It was cool to know that all you had to do was control your diet, because
Yeah, put in the work.
I could have done push-ups and sit-ups and been just as ripped. It was just the diet. And
Yeah, diet's the biggest part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a buddy of mine has said a number of times it's abs are earned in the kitchen, not in the gym.
yeah, if you could follow that diet again, and I mean, for the 9 months I didn't have a cookie, a candy, and even a fruit. Like, they didn't want your fruit 'cause
Too much sugar.
too much sugar, too much carbs. So my carbs would be sometimes just trace carbs, maybe from vegetables or something, or I'd have carbs before my workout to get me energy, or
Yeah.
afterwards to rebuild. And that was kind of what we focused on. And it was funny because when you went the day of the contest, you went down there, everybody, the whole week, you might have started the beginning of the week with 3 gallons of water, 2 gallons of water, 1 gallon, and then your
Do like a
body's-
water cut too.
yeah, now it's trying to draw. Yeah, just like and it's trying to draw. So now you're getting that different body
Yeah.
shape, and then you're tan, you're oiled up, and it's funny because then like 20 minutes before you go on stage, they have this room in the back. It's a candy room, and you just go in there. You're eating all the M&Ms and candy, and you
Oh,
get that
like a
high
sugar pump?
glycemic
Yeah.
sugar pump, and then
So
you
you get
start
like
doing
your veins like
veins
pump
just
out,
blow
right?
out. You
Yeah.
can pull up. So that's the best you're gonna look
Yeah.
at that time on stage. 6 hours earlier, 6 hours later, you're not going to look that
Yeah.
good. But that's what it was. And you come out and you're all jacked up. And again,
Yeah.
same thing. You're in front of millions of people, not millions, hundreds of people. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's one of those things. I'm like, where am I sometimes? Like,
Yeah.
how did I get here? But just like on a jiu-jitsu match, I'm like, how am I here? And then once you get it, you're like, man, I want to get back out here.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
get that adrenaline.
It's like a high you want to like chase.
Yeah, I talked
Yeah.
to Justin at the jiu-jitsu, and he's like, yeah, I keep entering these tournaments. I get on the mat, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And then right after the mat, I'm like, man, that was so good. I can't
Yeah.
wait to train again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so me and my wife did that together, and all. It was just something like off the charts that like you wouldn't be doing, but
Yeah.
I just felt it's so easy. Like if I wanted to do a contest in 3 months, it'd be easy because it's macros. It's
yeah.
just controlling those numbers and knowing what to eat and what time of day. But it was a lot of small meals, 4 or 5 small meals, and it's always chicken and vegetable, fish and vegetable, chicken and vegetable, maybe a steak and a vegetable in there.
Yeah.
And then, like even now, I said I do the 2 hard-boiled eggs in the morning. I have my berries, and then my next meal is avocado toast. Again, a healthy fat. I try to have in there 1 piece of bread, 2 more eggs, and then after the rest of the day, it's just mostly meat and vegetables.
You keep a pretty consistent diet, like every day. Is that your routine? Just
Yeah.
eggs, then avocado toast, and then whatever for dinner.
Yeah, it's every day too. It's just boring, but I'm just used to it. It's just
Yeah.
easy for me to eat. I could eat that every day. I could eat
Nice.
my meat and vegetables every day.
Yeah.
And then like I said, so me and my wife will do our food list. And Friday, usually lately it's been Thursday night because I like to train with Mario on Friday. So I've kind of moved our happy hour. So Thursday's our happy hour night, and we'll go hit a happy hour
Nice.
somewhere. And then
That's cool.
Saturday's a nice dinner out. Sunday we work at the rescue, and then I got a different brunch every Sunday. We just bounce around, whether it's Soul Cafe or
Oh, wow.
EOB.
That's the
or-
routine.
Yeah, that's our little routine. And then if we go away, I say we do a little food tour, but I try not to do it 100% strict right now, but I also want to be in, again, as good a shape as I can be.
Yeah, for sure.
On there. And same thing, we'll have a drink at night or a glass of wine a couple nights and all. But yeah, I'm more focused on living and just being healthy. And
Yeah.
again, I got Gary Brecka when I get that thing. Remember, he told Dana White he had 10 years to live. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things when you open that up, you don't want to see, don't buy any summer clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
just gonna get that. And my mom passed away 2 years ago at 88. My dad's 91 this year, and he played golf up to 3 or 4 years ago, healthy too. So I'm hoping that's gonna keep me going as part of my genes. But
Yeah.
if I can now improve on that,
Yeah.
And
anything that's within your control
Yeah.
too. Are your parents pretty healthy too, like diet wise?
yeah,
Nice.
always was. And my goal this year is just to get rid of my sleep apnea, my CPAP machine.
Yeah. So that's what you said. You go to sleep with a CPAP. What is that from?
Just asthma growing up, and I think it was all back east too. whatever the trees used to give off. My asthma was bad. I was in the hospital like 8 or 10 days a year. And moving out here helped, but now I'm getting maybe
So do you
different.
snore at night?
Not really snore, just I lose my breath a lot. And
Yeah.
it's happened a couple of times, scared my wife, because I would just not be able to get, I'd be like that. And it's happened so much that I knew what I got to do. I got to run out of the bedroom to the kitchen. I almost like lay on the counter and blast the water just to get a breath out so I can breathe.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
scary. It's happened a couple of times that there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
And I've been doing shots now for maybe 10 years, and I started doing the CPAP.
What kind of shots?
They tested me for all my different allergies, and then I just get all these
yeah.
allergy shots once a month. I go in and get 3 different shots, but the CPAP just keeps my mouth wet. It just always has that in there. But now I'm trying back to the Wim Hof. I just bought Boss Rutan's thing. I just bought an OxyFit.
Oh,
one.
I've seen that thing. Yeah, where it's
Yeah, so I do that every morning now and every
Nice.
night, 2 minutes. And again, through Gary Brecka, through everybody, Dana White slept with this, had the same thing, and he's gotten rid of. So I'm hoping once they get my deficiencies, whatever it is. I know collagen is another big one.
Yeah, was it all through just supplementation he was able to get off that CPAP machine?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I've heard, like, I also think I might have sleep apnea. Like, certain times in the night, Taylor has said, like, I'll be, like, silent, and then also go, like, like, throughout. And I snore a lot as well, too, when I sleep. So I'm curious. I've heard people mouth tape as a solution to it, but it seems a little nerve-wracking to feel like I'm going to, like, suffocate myself.
The same way on Instagram now, there's so many different things for
Mouthpieces and whatnot.
all.
Yeah.
So I buy them all. Like I said, again, if it's something that's going to help me, I'm trying to buy them all. But I'm hoping, with Gary Brecka and the hereditary, the gene thing, he's going to find your deficiency and whatever it is. Because I look at sometimes some of his vitamins and supplements that he has compared to maybe just a Costco daily, and his has 3 times more magnesium, 3 times more zinc.
Well,
certain
also he
things.
talks about, I don't know if you listen to his podcast with Joe Rogan, but he talks about like certain supplements have something in it that's like almost toxic. And it's important to have like methylated supplements versus non-methylated supplements. And there's I mean, I'm not super knowledgeable about it, but there's certain things in it that's like, I guess like heavy metals or, some sort of toxic substances that are in a lot of supplements.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he talks about, the methylation. Like even you get crude oil from the earth, but you don't put it in your car.
Yeah.
It's got to go through this process. And
Yeah.
that's the same with your body. So, yeah, if he knocks down a couple things or he has a supplement that I can do, again, it's whatever it is, it is. You got to get better.
For sure. Yeah.
And especially, like I said, some of the younger guys or middle-aged guys that I see sometimes that have kids and a wife. I'm like, man, I got one of my wife's friends coming in for the Phoenix Open, and I feed this guy so much information, he just doesn't want to get healthy. He blames it on everything else. I'm like, man, come on, you're a grown guy. You got a mortgage, you got kids. Look at your 2 girls. I'm like, man, I'd want to live to 200 if I had these 2 girls.
Exactly.
It's just,
I mean, they got to want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of it is information, but you can only do so much. People think that it's just the difference in person that, like, oh, yeah, John could do it because John's just in shape, but they don't realize all the stuff that you do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They just see you.
Get there, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I said. This guy wants maybe to be the life of the party sometimes and that. I'm like, I could see college afterwards, but if you're 35, 40, come on, just get everything dialed in. Get focused. Take care of your wife. Take care of your kids. Take care of your health so you can take care of your wife and kids.
Yeah.
Should be everybody's number one goal.
For sure.
Which it is in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And,
in January 1st, everyone feels good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I try to push the envelope. Again, I work out early. I work out late.
Yeah.
I think walking too is big. I'm glad I'm not a runner. I don't like running, but anybody that could volunteer I get 16,000 steps before 9 a.m.
Wow. That's a lot.
Mornings, it's just.
You know the distance? Like, is that a mile or a couple miles?
No, like 4.5 miles.
Wow.
Of walking in the morning.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
More, yeah. I take each dog. It's either our route is a half a mile or a mile, and I take them back.
And you just rotate each dog.
Each dog, yeah. And I got German Shepherds and mostly Belgian Malinois are there. So the Belgians want to go the full mile back and forth.
Yeah.
And they'll go a couple times. So I'll get them there, and then then the other dogs are smaller, but. Just the best thing. 4 hours goes past, and you look down, and you're like, man, I'm like 16,000 steps.
Wow.
And then there's a couple farms there, so I'll text the guy. I say, hey, I'm outside. I'll take 2 dozen. He's got like 85 chickens in his yard, and I get my eggs right from there. Take them home. I eat them right away.
Nice.
Again, farm to table.
That's really cool. Issa has chickens and eggs. He gave me some eggs that were delicious. Yeah. Once I have a house, I'd love to have some chickens.
Yep.
Nice.
My wife's father always did, and he also had emus. So we'd go out
Oh,
there
that's
too,
nice.
And
They'll like protect the house too.
Yeah.
I heard they're like mean.
They're nasty.
Yeah.
He's gotten cut up a couple times.
From the emu?
From the emus.
They like peck you or with their feet?
With his beak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh,
yeah,
really?
They can get on you in a second. They're pretty big size too.
Yeah, they're big. You can ride them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And he had like 32 of them, I think, at one time.
Whoa.
15 years ago, it was like the big craze, emus, and then you'd sell the breeder pairs to people.
Huh.
And I remember we were going up there, and it was a big article, and they're supposed to be not the smartest animal either. And it was a big thing that came up on a TV, like this guy clubbed like 30 emus. And I'm like, man, how do you think that happened? If I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, you club one, the next one comes, you club two. It's like one after another. He's like, they don't know what's going on. They're coming to see. I'm like,
wow.
Sense. But yeah, he used to do
funny.
that. And then some of the eggs that weren't good, he'd cook them up. And then at the end, he raised them, and he would slaughter them and get oils from them, the meat from them, and
interesting.
all that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a big business at one time, and then it just seemed to go away. It was like a quick fad and all. But there's still people that have them. But
emus, there's I forget. There's like I want to say somewhere near the gym. I used to drive by, and this guy had emus in his front yard all the time.
Yeah, they're cool looking, but they can get you in a hurry.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
not as big as an ostrich, but
yeah, I heard they're great like protectors of the yard too. Like if you try to like come in, they're on top of you.
Quick,
yeah.
Yeah, you got to get in guard real quick. See
I don't know, or just turn away and run.
Tap.
Yeah, that's the move for sure.
Yeah, so that was always good. But yeah, the health thing. Yeah, I said I try to push that on, not push it, but.
Talk about it.
On a lot of the guys I work with or anybody I run into, and same thing. If I read about Gary Brecka, and same thing. If you show me a move, I'm not questioning the move. You're better than me, smarter than me. You know the move. That works. When he says this is what you should be eating, this is what you should be drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good enough. Dana White says it.
For sure.
He's got no agenda. He's worth $500 million. He don't need you.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the great things about like the availability of information. It's like you don't have to dedicate your life to figuring out all these things. You can just go seek experts, and there's experts in any field you could possibly want to go to. And that is one of the really interesting things about Gary Brecka and Dana too. It's like you said, Dana's worth $500 million or maybe more. He can get the best doctors in the world, and he had the best doctors in the world, but they weren't doing it for him. And then he comes and Gary Brecka comes into his life, and you could just see it in his body. He's so much more healthy than he was.
Yep. And then those two doctors wind up now working for Gary Brecka.
Yeah, the ones that were working for Dana now are working for Gary.
He brought them together and said, how come you say A and B is good and he's saying C is good? He's like, well, here's why. I'm a biologist, and here's the blood, and I'm getting it before it needs to be treated. I'm treating it out here.
Yeah.
And all. So it's pretty
That's
impressive.
one thing, Gary talks about a lot, is a lot of doctors just treat the symptoms when often it's just a nutrient deficiency.
Yeah, exactly. And you wonder why that wasn't brought up 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 2 years ago. Why are we waiting to now? And
Well, a lot of it is like the money incentive. Like there's a massive industry in being able to treat symptoms and keep patients for life. But if you're able to just give nutrients and lose a patient, then you're just losing a repeat customer.
Right.
And so I think part of it is that. And then like you said too, with the grounding and sunlight, all of this is just free. You can get outside, and so people don't take it seriously. They think because it's free, it's like woo-woo or something, but it can have a massive benefit for you.
You're on heart medicine or diabetes medicine. You're on it for 20 years. Like I said, let's just keep paying. It's keeping the big money going, the pharmaceuticals and everything else. The money on that you pay
or high blood pressure medicine or any of it.
Yeah, so it all can be treated. Like I said, he's got all these people under him.
Yeah, all through diet and whatnot. I'm really curious about like the results I'll get for mine, because he's basically gonna say, or apparently like what it is like you do the swab and send it to him, and then he'll give you a list of symptoms that you have. Without knowing anything about you, without knowing anything, he'll give you a list of things that, like, whether it's brain fog during the day, trouble sleeping, not feeling like you're getting enough sleep, or, whatever it is. And it's all just probably because of this gene type you have. This gene mutation is causing you to be deficient in this. And because you're not getting that nutrient, have this result.
And if you catch that at 30 years old, like think think, Dana White's catching at 54.
Yeah.
You could have caught at 30. You're catching at 30 and just
For sure.
building on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's something for sure that I'm deficient in, because I think part of it's like, I sweat like a fucking animal. Like
Right.
I could sweat 7-8 pounds in a jiu-jitsu class, and I'm doing that 7 days a week for a long time. So anything that I have, if I'm not getting the right nutrients, I'm flushing it out regularly.
Yeah.
So I've felt it in the past year that like I feel like my cardio's gotten a lot worse for some reason without really changing anything in my routine. And so I'm curious if it's
See where that shows up.
yeah, if I'll feel better with my cardio just from, a different supplement.
Yeah. So whatever he gets for you too, and maybe that'll help you. And maybe you'll do jiu-jitsu at 59.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's a goal for sure. Now we just got to get Billy into it.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's back to work. I don't know now.
I know. Yeah, now he's a busy man.
But you're right as far as sweating. When we roll with you, we try to get you early.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay away from the puddles and all
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
it's just a hard roll. And there you go. Just right, how much energy you burn off in that. And that's what it says, the full body. You can't get a better workout than
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. You use
Oh,
every ounce
Great.
of
It's so
your body.
fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus like doing sprints or something, like you're pushing yourself when you're like running. In jiu-jitsu, you're just trying to not get choked and trying to, get on your partner. And so you're getting this great workout subsequently.
Yep, and isometric, right? That's what Gordon Ryan. That's
Yeah.
what you're doing. The isometric muscles.
Yeah, just holds.
Yeah, you're just strengthening everything. Your frame, your core,
Yeah.
and all. So that's good. And that's I think the more I read about Gary Brecken, the more the Ultimate Human is his website. 10X Health. He partnered with Grant Cardone. So again, it's good when your office is in Miami, Beverly Hills,
Yeah.
Scottsdale. Like you start looking at where his office is, and he wants to have. I think he wants to be in 50 states, have 10 centers. And now instead of going to the gyms and all, you can go get an IV, you can go get oxygen, you can get this and get your supplements and all.
Yeah.
So he's pushing a product, but it's to get to you need, if you can't get that through regular diet, you do need a supplement to get over the top. So it's either you're going to have to overeat, or you're going to take these supplements that just contain this and
For sure.
get you on the right path. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what you get. And especially early. Like, man, it's just like anything. Anything you can catch early, whether it's food-wise, allergy-wise, health-wise, medicine.
For sure.
It just makes your life easier.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I'll let you know what comes of it for sure.
Sleep better, live better.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be
Awesome.
good.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for all the gifts and
good
stuff. I
man.
really appreciate it.
I appreciate your friendship and
Yeah.
everything, man. You're just
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
yeah. Everybody one of the guys that everybody's like, man, Joey's here. It's going to be a good day. You get to roll and see you there. It's
Awesome.
It's good. And I
Well, thank you so
appreciate
much.
Our conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I feel like we could talk for hours. But
Definitely.
I got to pee like a racehorse, and
All good,
I've
man.
got some work to do. But hey, thank
Appreciate
you very much.
everything, brother. All the best. Always.
Yeah, sounds good. Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Joe.